What's up, America? Walking lightning. Yes, walking lightning, effectively known as spider lightning or anvil lightning. And in some cases, if the clouds are close enough to the ground, it can look like lightning bolts are actually walking while moving down the surface of the earth. So let's take a look at some walking lightning, or in this case known as an energy charge event. So here is that lightning, the walking spider lightning. I initially thought this was some AI shit, but apparently it's not, which absolutely floored me after seeing this, because I thought it has to be bullshit, right? It has to be. No, that's a real thing. This shit happens. Damn. So let me know what you think, because I've never seen anything like that myself until just now. So do you think?
That's wild, Seekers. Truly, man. I didn't even know something like that even existed, bro. Walking lightning. Learn something new every day.
Think that's some freaky shit or what?
That's the moon, right?
For just $300 a week, you can now rent 800,000 living human brain cells, grown on a chip, and make them do your computing. A company called Cortical Labs sells it. Real human neurons, grown from stem cells layered onto silicon, kept alive by a life support rig that feeds them and clears the waste. An earlier version even taught itself how to play Pong. They call it Wetware as a Service, and you can rent the brain cells in the cloud. The movie Blade Runner spent its time trying to answer one question, and that's, when does a manufactured thing become real enough to start deserving rights? I also want to disclose that nobody is claiming these dishes are conscious, but I've also noticed that nobody's asked. There's an old line in philosophy about how we treat animals, and the question isn't if it can think, it's can it suffer? We've just never had to ask that about a computer. If you want to stay updated on more dystopian tech news, then sign up for my free newsletter through the link in my bio. But as always, think about it, let me know what you think, follow me.
Oh.
What the fuck? Yeah, right. What the? It's in the road, it's in the road. Lights on, lights on. Stay there, stop, stop. Stop.
I'm gonna tell you guys a true story on how me and David Spade met. I was at my weekly Illuminati meeting. I was sitting next to Beyonce and Jay-Z, and all of a sudden my boy Spade walked in right after Drake walked in. I was like, yo, Drake, move your little ass somewhere else. I gotta talk to Spade real quick. And then we burned 2 truckloads of money and did some devil prayers. I sacrificed 4 goats, 3 chickens, and 1 sheep. And then we just, chopped it up, whatever. We was like, hey, be a video, bitch. And then we went to catch and had some lobsters with chicken blood. I still have the t-shirt with the chicken blood on it. I think it's a Drake t-shirt.
You know, people keep saying all the conspiracies start coming out to be true. But you know, the flat earth people are just sitting back, waiting for their time to shine when the earth gets revealed to be flat. I don't think it's flat, so I don't think it'll be revealed to be flat. But man, there still is a lot of flat earthers out there. Just waiting for the day of whatever flavor flat earther they are. You know, the ice wall, worlds beyond the ice wall, or the fact we live in a dome, whatever flavor of flat earth you want to be. They're just waiting for that day for it to finally be true. Or not.
Seekers, do you guys really believe that, man, that the earth is flat? I need you guys to tell me the predicts down below. It's flat earth, type flat earth. If it's round, type round earth, man. I really want to see, bro. That theory, I don't think it's ever going away, man. Didn't it start with Kyrie Irving, though?
Across Glasgow were left baffled yesterday after a giant dragon was spotted soaring over the city. The dragon was caught on camera gliding past the OVO Hydro in the early hours of the morning. A lot of punters had their theories, including football fans convinced it was a secret stunt for a rumoured Rangers signing, with one fan saying, a dragon being spotted in Glasgow on what looks to be Vanja Dragojevic to Rangers announcement day, good job. However, the dragon was spotted again today, and the real reason for the incredible display has been revealed. The The creature is a high-tech replica of Cyrax from TV show House of the Dragon, brought to Glasgow to promote the upcoming third series of the popular HBO Game of Thrones spin-off. The dragon, which measures 8 metres wide and was built over 3 months, was also brought along to celebrate the Commonwealth Games, which kicks off in Glasgow tomorrow.
You're counting every minute and second. I told the crane operators, what would you do if there's an asteroid heading to this planet in 8 days? Yeah, exactly. That's what they were told today. Yeah. And who knows, maybe there is. Yeah, I mean, you never know. I think if we operate with extreme urgency, then we have a chance of making life multiplanetary. Still just a chance, not for sure. If we don't act with extreme urgency, that chance is probably zero.
You know how much the first iPhone was, or the first Apple computer was sold for?
How much?
$666.66. First Apple computer. You got to think like, that's weird. What is the Apple on your phone? It's the Apple that Adam and Eve, they're making a prelude to this. It was the defiance of God, bro. It's not a good thing. It was literally when Eve said, I want knowledge over your order, God. That's what the Apple on your phone is. That's what that is. And Siri, like people don't even know, Siri backwards is Iris. When you heard Siri, did you not think that's a weird name? But unfortunately, because of all this stuff that's around us, we are numb to recognizing these patterns. But they do stuff, they name things forward and backwards all the time. It's like a common thing of the occult to like deceive you and blind you. But Iris is the messenger of the gods, the first one to deliver the message from the gods, which are the demons, by the way. The fallen angels are the gods, to you. You're the littles, they're the bigs. The medium, she's the first medium, is a witch. What is a medium? It's a witch, right? The medium is the go-between, the bigs and the littles. You're the little, they're the demons, are the bigs, because they were giants, they were the Nephilim.
That is crazy work, man. Everybody has an iPhone, bro. And I never knew, man, that the price was that when they first dropped the Apple products, man. You know how many people just walk around with that logo in their pockets? Don't know the true meaning, man. Symbolism, bro, right in front of our faces, man. We had no idea.
It's like, hey, Yaz, what does it look like? Actually, I don't know. No, it's straight up and down.
That's a dragon.
It has something on the side, Robert. Yeah? Uh-oh, fireman, sorry.
I'm not tripping, bro. That's a dragon, man.
What is that?
Might be the super people now, it's holding its position straight up and down.
You want to hear something really fascinating?
Sure. When God made the world, there was water above the firmament. The firmament is where the birds fly. So there was water above the atmosphere. Today, our air above the earth goes out about 50 miles. I think before the flood, it was all squeezed down into maybe 10 miles with a crystal canopy around the world, like a greenhouse. That crystal and canopy could be held up by air pressure, like an inflatable building, or held up by the magnetic field, because super cold ice is magnetic. Today, you go up 5 miles, Mount Everest, you can't breathe. 10 miles, you would die. But if all the air was squeezed into 10 miles, then you'd have greater air pressure, getting the air bubbles out there, 35% oxygen. Today, the air we breathe is 21% oxygen. Before the flood, they had 35% oxygen and double the air pressure, making everything grow bigger, live longer. And they find fossil dragonflies with 50-inch wingspan. They can't fly today. The air's too thin. So I think the pre-flood world was different in many ways, allowing things to live longer, grow bigger.
First glance, it looks like a highly ornate Renaissance suit of armor with shields, crest, ram heads, and all the usual symbols of power and warfare. But then you look closer, right at the chest and the collar of the breastplate. Something is coming out of it. There's a small, infant-like or worm-like creature emerging from inside the armor.
Chest burster.
It has a head, a body, and it looks like it's pushing its way out of the metal. It does not look like a human wearing the armor. It looks like the armor is a shell almost, and something is living inside it. Think about the Goa'uld from Stargate SG-1, the parasite that enters a human host. The idea that powerful figures we think of as gods or rulers are actually something else living inside a human shell. This 16th century Medici sculpture looks uncomfortably close to that concept.
This is why fast food is getting worse. A company called Leprino Cheese controls 85% of the cheese in the United States and provides the same exact mozzarella for Domino's, Pizza Hut, Papa John's, and Little Caesars. Sysco is the largest food supplier in the entire world, providing frozen food that is reheated by over 600,000 restaurants, bars, and other venues. Lamb Weston is responsible for about 80% of the fries for companies like Popeyes, McDonald's, and Burger King. Even the cheesecake you get from many sit-down chain restaurants like Red Lobster come from the Cheesecake Factory themselves. So next time you go out to eat and feel unsatisfied with your food, just know you're justified because it's all frozen from the same exact place.
See, because when you go out, have you started noticing and guess all the fast food tastes the same? So that means when people complaining about, I guess, the quality of food, stuff like that, you're eating the same thing, so it don't really matter, man. Yeah, that's crazy, man. One supply to all these fast food places.
Okay, what if we're just consumables? He said, yeah, there are these giant antennas, and when you die, your soul goes up, and I think he said the Greys, you know, this alien race, set up this soul catcher, and that's what this whole thing is about. And as you die, it sucks your soul in, and they use it in some way. And it's not where your soul is supposed to go. They just, like, set some sort of intercept.
Did you say where your soul was supposed to go?
No. No, he was just more really into the soul catcher.
Well, that was one of the weird things about some of the documents that you had at least been alerted to when you were on the base, and one of them being that humans are containers.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah, and which the likely conclusion is containers of souls. If a soul is a real thing, whatever
that's what you would think.
Right. I mean, that's what I thought.
Yeah,
but
I mean,
it's just
I would prefer to believe that's not true. But maybe it is. I don't know.
All right.
Weird.
Let's do this. Red.
Okay. Where we going? It's like a secret lodge.
Ooh. Mutilates. Nice. Oh yeah.
Anybody seen that viral video that's currently circulating of the high-speed chase that took place in Miami involving a woman named Melina Logan who actually stole a Honda Civic after taking it for a test drive and not returning it? Sequence of events in this incident are insane because first of all, she ended up going 97 miles per hour, right? Until she reached a bridge where 2 tractor trailers actually assisted in helping the police and stopping her and trapping her on the side of the bridge of where she actually ended up crashing into these concrete barriers. Well, after she crashed into those concrete barriers, she proceeded to get out of the car and then strip fully naked. And can you guess what happens afterward? She literally jumps off of the bridge into the water of where she gets pulled underwater by a motherfucking alligator. This ends up grabbing her, pulling her under, and then the police proceed to throw a life preserver ring out to her, in which she actually resists and tries swimming away, and then the police proceed to jump into the water after her, and she ends up scratching the police officers and actually ends up pulling one of the police officers underwater, and eventually they end up pulling her out of the water and of course charging her on multiple accounts. I feel like this should be a Netflix documentary because what in the did I just watch, and who the would have guessed any of that would have happened? Oh wait, actually it's Florida, so never mind.
Yep.
And is there anything you've done where you go, oh, I didn't like that?
Oh yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Are you critical of yourself?
All the time. Yeah, it just gives me the creeps to watch myself.
They don't like to watch themselves.
The show Alpha House,
because
and I'm running
it's
for
not them,
office
it's the
again.
demon.
There's a big bus, and it had like a 10-foot picture of my face on it. It just Oh. It made me want to go back to Satan worship. Well, that's, I think it worked for me. It got me a career. Let me tell you something.
There we
it's
go.
not just the face, the look, the voice.
Another example.
It's in front of our faces, man. These music videos, bro, they always tell a message. Those the refreshers, man. The Starbucks. Looks like.
You've probably heard of this guy, IShowSpeed, one of the biggest streamers in the world. But what a lot of people don't know is that 3 years ago, he went on a dating show on YouTube. And that's when people noticed this. His eyes started to shift, almost like a crocodile. What we now know as a reptilian. I'm not saying he is that, but this was never explained or talked about by him. I don't think it's impossible that they walk among us, shapeshifters. If they do walk among us, wouldn't they be in big positions of power and influence? Who knows? Maybe it was just a glitch in the camera. As always, thank you for watching. Stay weird.
That's your girl then, bro. I see her smiling. Hey, bro, pull off, man.
Go away. Don't come any closer. Coconut. Please just go away. Oh my god! Oh my god! Oh my god! Oh my god!
You just opened the door.
Get up here, Carly!
Did you know, despite people being from different cultures all around the world, during sleep paralysis, everyone sort of seems to see the exact same kind of creatures? Either someone sitting on their chest, a dark, shadowy figure in the corner of the room, or right next to them, or a creepy ass hat man. If you don't know, sleep paralysis is where your brain remains in REM sleep, but your body/muscles are paralyzed. You cannot move, but your eyes are usually open. Also, because the hallucinations are strikingly similar throughout people with no culture or connection or backgrounds, people believe or scientists believe that it's not from folklore, but human chemistry in the brain. Meaning there's something so ancient, something so primal within your brain that is being forced to remember when you can't move at night that these same 3 to 5 creatures are actively after you. And this exists throughout every single culture. Known sleep paralysis studies, I guess, ever. Some people call it the hags, some people, it's always this dark ass shadow figure. Isn't that creepy? Anyways, that's what I have for you tonight. The end.
Sleep paralysis is no joke, man. That happened to me a couple of times, bro. One of the scariest moments in my life, man. Woke up in the middle of the night. Like you said, my eyes is moving, but I can't move my arms or legs. Freaking panicking. Said, okay, let me count. 1, 2, 3. Just started flailing my arms, man. I got controlled by it, bro. And it was in a pitch dark room, so I couldn't see anything. Obviously, I was sleeping, but sometimes I did kind of feel something on my chest, though. So, Seekers, actually, tell me down below, man, if you ever experienced sleep paralysis, man, tell me your story. I want to know.
Dangerous is when the universe pick you and you put on the magic glasses. There's rules that go with them. You can never take them off. You never see things as they're supposed to be. You see things as they are. You can never force nobody else to wear them.
What percentage of people walking the street do you believe are actually NPCs? What is an NPC to you in human terms? Is it possible that we all can become NPCs? What if this simulation only rendered a certain number of characters and everyone else you see are solely created just to fill the background.
Ape specifically, the newest one.
It's the fourth one, right?
Yes, it is the fourth one. I'm super excited about it. And
Pause.
What?
Is he that guy?
NPC activity.
This player got stuck. There's two NPCs blocking the road, and as if she's in the new Grand Theft Auto game, she moves one NPC out the road. This tells me that this girl in the white car is actually playing the game. Everyone thinks they're awake, but the one sign of being programmed is believing that you're the one that isn't. What percentage of people you pass every day are actively questioning reality versus simply following a script handed to them by society? Somehow we all can turn into an NPC. Now watch as she puts this player back into position as she takes off.
That is eerie, bro.
This looks like someone stuck in a suspended reality. This is not a normal behavior, and I can't help but to wonder, what is this person thinking about? If you look at the right leg, you see it's suspended mid-step as if the battery went dead.
Oh, my flash on, I don't even give a fuck. She glitching for real. I don't know that. I need to tighten up, though.
This person looks like they're in a different time and space.
I don't know what this is. Excuse me for the people walking through, but this is the guy that's possessed. I'm sitting out here in my car, TikTok friends and family, and I am videoing him. And I've been watching him for a while, but he goes in and out and come back. And yes, I hope you guys can get a good picture of him. But this is possessed. He's possessed. That's crazy.
This makes two in a row. Same rapid face movement, same stiff body posture. Are some of these NPCs? Leave it in the comments. Unanswered Universe.
Why are you looking at you like that, bro?
What are the odds that a small town mayor's brother in Arkansas wins the second largest Powerball jackpot in history? That's right, Tracy Hartwick, the younger brother of North Little Rock mayor, won a $1.8 billion jackpot, deciding to take the cash prize of $834.9 million. Now, Tracy, who won the money, decided to take 94% of the winnings and give 3% to his brother that's not the mayor, and the remaining 3% to an unnamed third person. And 3% ain't nothing. It equals about $25 million. Just to keep the whole thing in the Arkansas family, the winning ticket was sold at a Murphy gas station, who received $50,000. Even though this chain of gas station has about 1,800 locations across 27 states, the winning ticket was in hometown Arkansas, not far from where the chairman of the board grew up. And it just so happens he's about the same age as the mayor. You have to wonder in a small town if they know each other. I'm sure that all of this is just a bunch of coincidences. Because the lotto can't be rigged, can it? I mean, there's just unconfirmed whisperings that Epstein's Zorro Trust won in 2008. As always, I want to hear what you think about all of this down below.
Has to be. There's no way, man. You know, like you said, the coincidence is for all of it to line up. The mayor's brother won. It was in Arkansas, man. They got all those benefits. I just saw about the thing about Epstein. I heard that Epstein won a freaking lottery too, man. Well, nothing in this world is as it seems, bro. Lotto's rigged, man. I didn't even play the lotto, man. There's no point, bro. Everybody got their hand in the pot, man. The elites. Crazy work.
Flock camera update is way worse than previously thought, causing some police officers to resign after they tried to expose how bad it's gotten. For context, the controversial Flock Safety Network is a collection of nearly 90,000 cameras deployed across the US. They claim to help law enforcement identify vehicles linked to criminal activity by using AI to analyze footage. However, a recent update to these cameras now gives them the ability to do far more than that, as despite the Flock company insisting that their cameras are still only capable of capturing the license plates of passing cars while blurring human faces to prevent identification, multiple police officers have disputed that description, with one even forced to resign for speaking out about Flock's real capabilities. It's been revealed that Flock cameras have the ability to identify and track the Bluetooth signals of nearby devices, meaning that they can tag a blurred out human with their phone or AirPods Bluetooth serial and trace their every movement.
Obians. They connected to the cloud once they put that in, bro. And then that's giving them direct access to their brain.
People have been saying that there's something off about Kai Cenat for a very long time, pretty much since he started getting into the fashion industry. In that last clip, we see Kai Cenat dancing alone in a pitch black room, and many people, including fans of his, found that part of his Streamer University stream to be extremely eerie. Totally not connected or anything, but I happened to find this painting online recently and found it to be quite interesting. Hello? Went ahead and screenshotted this pic behind me from that video that you watched in the beginning. I want you to look deeply into Kai Cenat's eyes and remind you again that he is doing this in a completely pitch black room. Does nobody else find that to be eerie and creepy, at least a little bit? Of course, people online are saying he's just dancing to a song. It's really not that deep. Or is it? Mind you, this is the same Kai Cenat who said he would never cut his dreads, and then he did just that. This is also a Kai Cenat for a long time on his way to the top of streaming, who was proclaiming God and very open about who he was serving. Entertainment purposes only, it seems like on the way to the top there has been a shift in that mentality. But what do you think? Comment below, let me know your thoughts. Am I on to something, or am I tripping this time? Wake up.
Y'all want to see how Mexican Sprite and how Mexican Coca-Cola and Pepsi gets created? Watch this, y'all, because this right here took me back too, because why am I watching an Indian man put together Pepsi, Sprite, Mountain Dew, Coca-Cola, and then this is how they do it? I thought this was from a big corporation. Coca-Cola, Pepsi, what happened to y'all? Like, why are we watching on TikTok that these products are being created and made in India? Like, are these knockoffs? Are these official? Like, what's going on, Pepsi? What is this? What is this concoction? You noticing the way that he's looking at the camera, like he really wants y'all to see what they're doing up in there, bro. And he slides it across the floor? Bro, what is this? Why does it look like coffee?
It do.
Oh my God, and he's using an oil funnel to put the stuff in there, y'all. Y'all, I don't think I can ever go to India. I can't. I won't be able to eat. I won't be able to drink. I can't enjoy myself. Not to mention, have y'all seen what India really looks like? Bro, this is crazy. And now, here comes the carbonation. And the cats are Mountain Dew? They're not even Pepsi cats. What is this? What is this? I mean, y'all continue to mess around, go to India and drink this stuff, or even when you see it in your stores, y'all can drink this stuff, but me, no way, bro. especially with these Mountain Dew caps. But this stuff, this is crazy, man. Is that Pepto-Bismol? Is that Pepto-Bismol? The shit is here, man. Y'all see it. They feel it. Let's continue to get it.
Don't ask me ever again to get on a ride. This right here is the reason I don't do it. Even the worker ran out and she's not even on the ride.
This man actually exists. This is the real-life Lizard Man. His name is Eric Sprague, and he has the nickname Lizard Man. He's well known for his many body modifications, piercings, tattoos, sharpened teeth, and even a split tongue. It took over 700 hours to get his entire body tattooed. And so far, he spent $300,000 to transform himself into the Lizard Man. And he says that he's very happy with his transformation.
I think by
the Lizard Man, bro, that's my first time seeing it, man. We saw the Alien Man, Lizard Man. What's next? Tiger Man, Catwoman. We've actually seen the Catwoman.
At this point, we all know the dangers of hot cars in the summer, and it is unacceptable that any child be left in a car to die. But this child was in the care of a state-contracted worker when he was left alone for 5 hours and died in the hot car. This is 3-year-old Katorius KJ Starks Jr. He was living with a foster family, and on Friday, July 22nd, he was at daycare and then was headed to a visit with his father. The person responsible for getting him there was Keila Stanford, a third-party worker contracted by the Alabama Department of Human Resources. On the morning of July 22nd, the family said Stanford picked KJ up from the daycare to drive him to see his father. The visit, which was part of a court-ordered process for the parents to regain their custody of KJ, ended around 11:30 a.m. According to the family's attorney, Courtney French, quote, rather than properly returning KJ immediately to daycare, the worker made numerous personal errands with KJ buckled in a car seat in the back of her car. Stanford went home at around 12:30 p.m., leaving KJ strapped inside the vehicle with all windows up and the car engine off. He was left in that parked car outside of her home for more than 5 hours. Eventually, the daycare reached out to Stanford to ask her why KJ hadn't been returned, and it was only then that she realized he was still in her car. She called 911, but at 6:30 p.m., KJ was pronounced dead. During the time window when KJ was left alone in the car, temperatures topped 96 degrees and heat index values ranged from 101 to 105 degrees. Stanford was arrested and booked at the Jefferson County Jail and has posted a $30,000 bond. But she will be facing charges related to KJ's death. According to KJ's family, he was a bright little boy. He was only 3 years old. Rest in peace, KJ.
Do not eat any of these things. I must be really hungry because these turtles look exactly like avocados. You can't tell me that this rock doesn't look like a loaf of bread. And this tree looks a little bit too much like sliced bacon. Why does this deodorant have to look like a delicious popsicle? And definitely don't eat these because they're actually fridge magnets. Noodles or rubber bands? Okay, this pug and this loaf of bread could be twins. Did somebody drop their bread? Just kidding, it's actually a rock. This tarp looks exactly like a delicious burrito. Okay, this one really had me fooled. That's not fried chicken, it's actually a crystal rock.
This is real footage of Lori Shaver walking down the aisle to marry her new husband after murdering and burying her previous husband in her backyard. This all started in 2015 when 36-year-old Michael Shaver mysteriously disappeared in Florida. His friends and family immediately became worried, but his wife, Lori, claimed that he abandoned her and the kids and that he wanted to start a new life. However, Michael's friends and family tried to get in touch with him, but could never reach him. Eventually, Michael messaged his close friends and family and asked to be left alone. Then, not even a year later, Lori meets a man named Travis Filmer. They quickly got married, and they had this beautiful ceremony with both their friends and family in Lori's backyard, which was this huge 5-acre property. At this point, 3 years go by since anyone's heard anything from Michael, and no one has filed a missing persons report. It wasn't until one day his close friend noticed that Michael was uploading very strange photos on Facebook, and he felt like something was off, so he asked police if they could go to his house where he lived with Lori and do a welfare check. The officer went to the backyard, which again was this huge 5-acre property, and described having this weird feeling. He said that Lori's demeanor was completely calm, like she had nothing to hide, and then he notices a cement slab with the outline of what appeared to be a human body. They quickly got a search warrant warrant and they began digging in the backyard, and it wasn't long until they found Michael's body buried under the cement, which turns out was actually poured with the help of Laura's new husband. Her new husband testified and said that he had no idea that Michael's body was laying there and believed the story that Lori was telling everyone. So this entire time, Lori was the one logging into Michael's Facebook and uploading all these strange photos and responding to his friends and family pretending to be him. Now, things get even crazier because when Lori was arrested, she pled not guilty, and her defense tried to pin everything on her 7-year-old daughter, claiming that she shot her father while trying to defend her mother. The jury was not convinced, and Lori was convicted of second-degree murder and was sentenced to life in prison.
To try to blame the whole thing you do, that's a new type of law that we just heard.
The bizarre beauty standards of Tudor women. The bizarre obsession with giant foreheads. Would you believe that during the Tudor dynasty, women sacrificed their eyebrows, eyelashes, and even their health for one goal: to look like an egg? That's right. Back then, the height of beauty was having a huge, smooth, and shiny forehead. The bigger, the more sophisticated. To achieve this strange ideal, women shaved the hair off their foreheads, pushed their hairlines back, and eliminated any trace of eyebrows or eyelashes that might distract from this facial monument. Unfortunately, the horror didn't stop there. Many used the infamous Venetian CESC to whiten their skin, a cream made of lead and vinegar that slowly poisoned their bodies. And the worst part is when this beauty standard became a source of shame for future generations, portraits were retouched to hide the truth.
This man saved a wolf from a trap, and a few years later it saved his life. One day, Anthony was going for a walk in the forest and came across a huge wolf. Since he was alone, he was terrified until he realized the wolf was stuck in a trap. As he approached to investigate, he realized the wolf was a female and was extremely exhausted. He knew this meant that there were starving babies around somewhere, but the wolf wouldn't trust him or let him get close. Anthony knew something had to be done, so he looked around for hours until he finally found the den. He tried to lure the pups out by howling, and after a while they were so hungry they finally came out of the den. Then he grabbed them and loaded them into his bag and took them back to the mother. When he let them out, they happily ran back to the mother. He then knew he had to find some food, so he looked around until he came across a deer that had passed away. He dragged it back to the wolves, which would keep them fed for a few days. Then he set up camp nearby, and the pups woke him up in the morning. He then decided to attempt to try and earn the wolf's trust enough for him to set the mother free. For days, he fed, talked to, and approached the wolf until the wolf finally let him put his hand on her injured paw. And it gets even better, so hit the plus for part 2.
That sounds like a movie plot, bro.
Average age to lose virginity by country. Belgium, 17.2 years old. Portugal, 16.9 years old. Bulgaria, 16.9 years old.
Keeps going lower.
Israel, 16.7 years old. Finland, 16.5 years old. Norway, 16.5 years old. Sweden, 16.2 years old.
Lower again.
Denmark, 16.1 years old. Iceland,
is it gonna stop?
15.6 years old.
An alleged serial killer in Argentina has been arrested at a house filled with body parts. A 37-year-old man has been arrested after at least 5 people were murdered in a town in Argentina. Police say the man lured homeless people into his house, killed them, and then dismembered their bodies. And these murders always took place on Fridays. The suspect was arrested after police raided his home and found, quote, bones, blood, pieces of skin, and even a nose. During the police raid, authorities encountered the man's 16-year-old nephew, who allegedly told authorities that his uncle would go out on Fridays and return with different people each night, most of them either homeless or elderly. The nephew told authorities that his uncle would, quote, beat them, kill them, cut their bodies, burn them, and take them out in garbage bags. The man has been dubbed the Machete Man by local media outlets. While not yet identified by police, A24 News Channel identified the man as Matias Dorado, a local resident who neighbors said allegedly threatened people with machetes, set fires, carried suspicious bags, and rolled around wheelbarrows at night. But neighbors say they never suspected he was a serial killer, but evidence found inside his home says otherwise. Jurado insists he is innocent, but he has been charged with aggravated homicide. And hopefully a serial killer has been taken off the street. Rest in peace to all of the victims.
You were today years old when you found this out, food edition. Number 1, the next time you're at McDonald's, fold down your ketchup pot to make a full-on plate for your fries. It's so helpful. Number 2, the lids of plastic cups at takeaways can actually come down and work as coasters. Check this out. They fit absolutely perfect. And at number 3, microwaves actually have a silent mode. That's right, go to your microwave and hold down the 0, the 1 and the cancel button and it will be as quiet as a mouse.
This has got to be the funniest trend of the year so far. So people are recreating this old phone call that Kai Cenat had with his mom on stream. These recreations go something like,
You did so good, guy. Good boy. Good boy. You did so good. Yeah.
As of right now, that is the biggest meme on TikTok. Now, this meme started becoming insanely popular when big streamers like DDG started reacting to people's videos on it. Then there were people that started to make like compilations of the best remakes of this phone call. By the way, this one is the best one hands down, like that's not even debatable. But I just gotta know who exactly came up with this trend. I mean, if you see the trend without hearing the original phone call between Kai and his mom, you'd probably think there was some Diddy stuff going on in that phone call. So if you see the trend before the phone call, the actual phone call is low-key disappointing. Like, I was expecting his mom to be on there like,
I'm about to know you're number 1. My son number 1. I'm about to know.
I gotta go.
Yeah, they turned their phone call into something else. I'm guessing that was Kyle Mom's congratulating him and they turned
I'm
that
about to read your palms and
else.
tell you what it means. Right, first I need you to put your hands together and observe what line pattern you have. Now that you've observed your hand's line pattern, let me tell you what it means, because it could mean a lot more than you think. Number 1, if your left hand line is lower than your right. This means that you're independent and you do not care what other people think about you. You also keep your opinion to yourself and will become very wise over the years. Oh yeah, and you're a very romantic person. Number 2, if your right hand line is lower than your left. This means that you're an aggressive person but you love challenges. You're also self-confident and you do not run into relationships. And finally, number 3, the rarest of them all, if your lines are the same. This means that you're strong-minded and probably charming. You're also sensitive and care about other people's opinions. You also crave love but you do not go around asking for it.
Oh no! Video games are getting more expensive. It'd be a shame if somebody compiled a list of all the places you could try to find cracked games. Just be careful with your computer though, please. Don't click on any sketchy download buttons. I understand that this is a skill that you have to learn. Okay, it's 2025. Don't click on any .rar files called definitely not malware.xex. Don't install anything with like a setup final .cmd. No bat files. Unless you want your PC to sound like a jet engine and start mining crypto for somebody in Belarus. Anyway, video games used to be $60 as the standard. Now it's $70. And Nintendo went, what if it was $80? And everybody kind of just accepted it. I mean, we threw a fit, but Nintendo didn't change anything. Games launch unfinished, you guys. They sell you the rest in a DLC, and if it breaks, it's your fault for pre-ordering. But hey, game is art, and I support artists. I'm not supporting piracy. I'm not encouraging that. Piracy is wrong. You wouldn't steal a car. You wouldn't steal a handbag. You wouldn't download a pizza. But you might just download a 120 gigabyte AAA mess that fired half the developers and locked the ending behind $30. So no, I would not recommend you check out any of these websites listed. These are not suggestions at all.
How rare? I mean, it is kind of sad about how the game price keep increases. They keep talking about how GTA 6 about to cost $100. If that's true, man, are you guys gonna pay it? You know people will pay that, man, for GTA 6, bro. They've been waiting for so long, they'll pay anything. Hopefully they don't do it, man.
Is your hair? Let's find out. About 85% of people have naturally black hair, and it's the most common worldwide, and sometimes they can look like a very dark brown. And people with darker hair tend to have more hairs per square inch on their head, which is why it normally looks thick and full. Only about 11% of people have naturally brown or brunette hair, and people with brown hair normally have medium to thick hair, with very few having thin hair. Only about 2% of people have naturally blonde hair, and blondes normally have more hair strands on their head at about 150,000, while those with brown or black hair normally have 100,000. Only about 1% of people have naturally red hair, but in Scotland, over 13% of the people have red hair. And red hair is a recessive trait, which means that each parent has to have a copy of the mutated gene. Less than 1% of people have white or gray hair, and you actually can be born naturally like this, but it is extremely rare. Less than 1% of people have hair that is 2 different colors, also called hair heterochromia. And normally when someone has this, they have hairs that are brown, blonde, or red that are in the background of darker colored hair.
The world's rarest shapes. 9 protruding lips.
Okay. Got a full set right
8
there.
thin lips. 7 Morse plate lips.
I said they put some in their lips right at that little plate.
6 cherub lips. 5 bee stung lips.
You got stung by a bee?
4 heart-shaped lips. 3 uneven lips.
Uneven? Okay, I can see a little bit.
2 Cupid's bow lips. 1 double-lobed lips.
Double-lobed lips?
Morbid Facts, Part 1. In 1992, 18-year-old John Thompson was home alone when he had both of his arms ripped off in a farming accident. But he still managed to get up and dial 911 with a pencil in his mouth. He miraculously survived and both of his arms were reattached. John says the only pain he really felt was when the exposed nerve hanging down his right side knocked into something. When Tatanisha Hedman waited for him to fall asleep before pouring kerosene on him and lighting him on fire. She later admitted to police that she intentionally set him ablaze because shooting him would have been too nice. In 2009, a man sued Pepsi when he was traumatized after finding a mouse in his Mountain Dew. But Pepsi attorneys said this was impossible since Mountain Dew would completely dissolve a mouse within 30 days. Pepsi ended up winning the case after proving that the can was purchased more than 70 days after it was manufactured.
I'm just gonna gloss over that. A mouse
Board Games
dissolves.
Atlas could not finish because of how much they disturbed me. You guys really liked the first list, so I'm back with another top 3. And remember, these are not necessarily the scariest, but they're the ones that left me the most uncomfortable. And according to my commenters, number 1 might be the most uncomfortable video I've ever uploaded. At number 3, we have Broken Needle. Compared to number 2 and number 1, this one isn't so bad, but the idea of a little girl who's just a head and a spinal cord telling her father to add more body parts to her is really disturbing to me. And the levels of the game are just finding people who have the right limbs, killing them, and then taking those body parts to attach to your daughter. Yeah, for some reason this one really got to me, and it's a short playthrough that's worth a watch. Number 2 is Mouthwashing. Of course I have to talk about this. I'm sure all of you are familiar with this game. It really needs no introduction at this point. And while the subject matter it covers isn't necessarily new, the way it tackles it is profound. If Ginny as a character does not make you uncomfortable, I don't really know what to tell you. Now, I do have a playthrough for all of these games on my channel, but again, warning for number 1, it's brutal. At number 1, we have Vile Exhumed. This game is exactly what its title says, vile. You're exploring the computer of one of the most evil characters I've ever seen in a game. Basically, a man becomes obsessed with this actress named Candy Corpse and commits unspeakable crimes. And the way this game presents the evidence to you, I had chills multiple times during this game.
Should I check those out, Seekers? You guys know I ain't into scary movies like that.
Did you know what was actually going on in this story? Because I bet you didn't. Apparently, Willy Wonka, Charlie and the Chocolate Factory is the most messed up, disturbing, horrifying movie ever made. I know you're all probably thinking why, it's just a kid's film. Well, maybe it's not. As I go on, this gets progressively worse, so stick with me and make sure you share this video with someone. So first of all, apparently the movie was predictively programmed, with the first one coming out in 1971 and the remake in 2002. In the 1971 movie, there's talk of facial recognition and robots actually taking over people's jobs, which of course is happening now, with literal AI-controlled rooms and a number of different things which lead people to believe it was predictively programmed. Next up, there's a theory that it's actually connected to Batman. The company of the toothpaste called Smile is the same as the Joker's laughing gas in the movie, when people have seen a lot of connections between the two. Which leads on to the next one, that Willy Wonka is actually a serial killer. Weirdly and scarily kind of makes sense because of the context. Every child apparently representing a different sin that has to be purged. The way that he eliminates people, but wait till you hear this. He lures people in with marketing, eliminates them when they fail to meet the expectations, and then of course reward the most obedient one with ownership of the system. Which many people have been saying is pretty creepy and also sounds very familiar to things nowadays. When you think about it, some of it does make sense, some of it I'm really not too sure. Let me know your thoughts and let me know which one next.
You guys
Dog
believe that
psychology
theory?
Facts you probably didn't know. If your dog is sleeping like this on its side with its legs extended, it most likely feels safe and is at a comfortable temperature. If your dog licks you when you get a cut or a wound, he's actually trying to heal you. Your dog has antibacterial compounds in their saliva, so when they're licking your cut, they're trying to heal you faster. Dogs yawning. If your dog is yawning, it's not the same as a human yawn. Dogs yawn to reduce anxiety and stress and remain comfortable. Dogs can actually smell your emotions. Studies were done showing that dogs can feel a sense of both stress and fear along with some other happier emotions, and dogs tended to mirror that human's emotion.
Dinosaurs that were found in your country. Croatia.
Here we go.
Histriosaurus. Malawi. Maloisaurus.
Maloisaurus.
Norway. Hippacrosaurus.
Alright.
Germany. Archaeopteryx.
Flying one-eyed.
USA.
T-Rex.
Utahraptor.
Yeah, I was wrong. Utahraptor.
Canada. Acrocanthosaurus.
Is that the T-Rex? Looks like it.
I'm gonna ruin your childhood, so listen in. So SpongeBob's address is 124 Conch Street, Bikini Bottom. But if you type it into Google, it will take you to this point at Little St. James's Island. And this is where it gets extremely weird. This is the exact spot of Jeffrey Epstein's island. This is so messed up, I don't even know what to think.
A zoo in Denmark wants you to donate your pets to the zoo so they can feed them to the predators. So the Aalborg Zoo says they're trying to mimic the natural food chain of the animals that are housed there. And to mimic this natural food chain, they're asking members of the public to donate their small pets to the zoo so they can then be put down and fed to the predators at the zoo. So in an FB post, the zoo said that if you have a healthy animal that needs to be given away for any reason, feel free to donate it to us. Apparently they're wanting animals like guinea pigs, chickens, and even horses to be donated to the zoo, but if you choose to donate a horse, there is a small catch. It can't have been treated for an illness within the past 30 days at least. Now, since this announcement, there has been some massive pushback against this zoo, which is kind of obvious, because what do you mean you want me to donate my pet horse so you can go and feed it to a tiger? But I have to defend the zoo a little bit. If you have an old guinea pig that's on the way out, I personally don't see a problem with donating it to the zoo. However, if you have completely healthy animals that you just don't want anymore for whatever reason, and you choose to donate them to this zoo, I see that as a problem, at least a little bit.
Were people still alive
give them up
inside
for
of the
adoption.
Titanic as it sank? Well, testimony from survivors actually suggests that yes, they were. Also, I cover a lot of morbid but interesting things on this page, so you should follow along. So as the Titanic sank, we know that part of it was vertical in the water as it went down. And experts have suggested that any of the air still left inside of the ship would have traveled to the top and trapped itself inside of a bubble. Which means that if people were trapped in that part of the ship, they could have survived as it was being brought down to the bottom of the ocean. But what's interesting is that the night it sank, some of the survivors said that 15 to 20 seconds after the ship went down, they heard an explosion under the water, which some people have suggested was actually the sound of the bubble imploding, similar to how the Titan submersible imploded. Basically, at a certain point, the ship would have gotten to a depth where the pressure on the outside was more than the pressure on the inside, and it would have crushed it. However, some experts say this is not possible. The ship was not sealed like the submersible was sealed, and therefore it could not have imploded that way. Regardless, we know that everyone who was left on that ship that night suffered a horrible fate. And if you're interested in more morbidly but interesting content, make sure to follow along.
The oldest baby in the world was just born, and even though it's just a few days old, it's already older than you and me. So back in the 90s, a baby in Ohio was frozen as an embryo. Well, just a few days ago, that embryo was born and is now a full-on baby. Now, the parents of this baby are 34 and 35, and the baby is technically 30 years old since it was frozen all the way back in 1994. So that means that the baby is only a few years younger than the parents. Technically speaking, if the baby wasn't frozen and it was born back in 1994, then the parents of this baby and the baby would have possibly spent a year or two at the same school together. Now, since the original woman who froze her embryos never exactly gave birth to this baby, the baby has 2 adopted parents right now. But the actual mother of the baby, the one whose embryos were frozen, is going to eventually get to meet this baby that has been in the works for 30 years. And she actually has a child who is 30 years old. So that child and this baby are siblings that are the same age, even though they have a 30-year age gap between them.
30 history facts that school refuses to teach you. In ancient Greece, large peepees were a sign that someone was stupid or foolish, which is why so many statues like this one are depicted with a small one because it was a sign of intellect. Benjamin Franklin had a MILF fetish. Benjamin Franklin actually wrote a letter to a boy saying that older women were better because they're more experienced, and in that he said, while the face wrinkles, the other parts do not. In 17th century Europe, it was common practice for nannies to give a handy to a younger teenage boy in order to help him fall asleep.
She is responsible for the deaths of more people than the average serial killer. Ilse Koch and her husband Karl were responsible for the management and construction of the Buchenwald concentration camp in Germany. With this power, she enjoyed causing suffering. She and her husband created a rule that if any prisoner were to look at her directly, they would be executed on the spot. Because of this, she started to ride a horse through the concentration camp, dressed in very revealing clothing that was tight with very low cleavage, just so she could say, somebody looked at me, and she could have them executed. Meanwhile, people were probably looking at her because she looked crazy, but she also carried a whip and she would just hit people at random. Then when husband Karl was away, witnesses reported she would command officers to bring a selection of male soldiers to her mansion that was on site at the camp, then force them to remove their clothing and then lie in front of them in lingerie. If any of them looked at her or showed any signs of being excited, she would also have them executed. It just gets worse from here. She also insisted on having only teenage boys be her servants in her home, and each morning she would lay in bed in her nightgown and have them bring her breakfast, just so she could say, you looked at me, have them taken care of. Over time, she became bored with this game. This suffering so boring. So she creates a new hobby. One day she's riding through camp again on her horse, whipping people at random, when she notices that one of the prisoners has a tattoo. This prompts her to go to the camp's doctor so she could pressure him to start a new experiment, to see if there's any connection between tattoos and criminal behavior. A German inmate gave the testimony that all prisoners with tattoos had to report to the dispensary. Once the prisoners were examined, the ones with the most artistic tattoos were then killed with lethal injection. Ultimately, there was over 800 prisoners that went through this, just so the desired pieces of skin with tattoos could be skinned off their bodies and preserved. She would then decorate with the preserved skin, and also use it to make lampshades. I also read that she used the skin to cover books, and to make gloves. She would also give out these pieces of skin as gifts. In 1942, Ilse and her husband were taken to court for misusing camp funds, but also for not following protocol with prisoners. You know it's bad when the Nazis themselves, even at the time, said, you took it too far. For more horrific history, please subscribe to my YouTube channel as we unbox more of these cases.
That was a disturbing case.
Maybe an unpopular opinion, but I'm sure you would notice if you had the bodies of your 3 dead best friends in your back garden. It was the 7th of January in Kansas City, Missouri, when 3 friends went to another friend's house to watch a football game. The men were Clayton McGeeney, Ricky Johnson, and David Harrington, and the friend they went to see was Jordan Willis. The guys regularly hung out. They were literally best friends, and they were really excited for the Kansas City Chiefs game because, as you can see, they were all big fans. Ricky was a father of 3 and loved spending time with his kids. He loved nothing more. Clayton was described as a great person by loved ones, and David was a really lovely guy. He was actually a Little League baseball coach. It was actually David's mom, Jennifer, that started to get really worried because after he went over to the house, she just didn't hear of him for days. Maybe it would have been normal for a few hours, but yeah, not full days with no communication. And it was very weird because all 3 men stopped communicating at the exact exact same time and hadn't spoke to their family or friends. It was Clayton's fiance that finally ended up taking matters into her own hands and just driving over there to see what the hell was going on. She ended up driving over to Jordan's house and literally banging on his front door, desperate for any kind of answers. But eerily, there was no reply. What the hell had happened at this house? She then went round the back of the home, and that's when her whole world was turned upside down. She wanted to see if she could obviously get a better look through a window or something, or get any idea what had gone on. When she entered the back garden, she was absolutely horrified. One of the men was dead on the back porch, and the two other were deceased in the back garden. They were all frozen. As you could see, it was really snowy at that point. So she rang police and they raced to the scene, and it was only once police actually arrived that they realised somebody was in the house. Jordan allegedly then came out of his bedroom and shortly after lawyered up. He initially claimed that he had no idea that those bodies were there. He initially stated he didn't usually use the back door, he just used the front door, so he had no idea that the bodies were in the garden. However, the men's cars were still parked at the house, so I feel like that makes absolutely no sense in my opinion. It's also alleged that multiple people had tried to call this Jordan and ask where on earth their loved ones were, and he was just not answering. Police originally ruled out foul play and stated that this guy had no motive to want to hurt his friends. However, things have changed. Jordan was fairly recently arrested along with another man. The deceased men's autopsies revealed they had illegal substances in their systems. Police allege that Jordan supplied these men with substances, along with a man named Blade Brown. That was obviously a nickname. His real name is Ivory Carson. Text messages allegedly reveal that Ivory had provided some substances to these men. Two witnesses also allegedly reported that Jordan had been seen passing around a dinner plate with substances on it to these men at his house. Both men are currently being held in jail.
Change the way you see things. This map shows how many cities does each country have that have more than 1 million people. The United States and Mexico both have 10, but it's kind of shocking to me that Brazil has 17, Russia has 16, India's got 46, and China has nearly 100. The world is a big place, but there are some notable places here that have 0, like Greenland and Iceland, Finland, Norway. These are the results of the 1936 presidential election for Franklin D. Roosevelt, and wow. But don't worry, because we also have the 1972 election map with Richard Nixon. And yeah, this map shows the percentage of population in every U.S. state that has never been married. The lowest is in Idaho and Wyoming, meaning more people there are married than anywhere else. And then there's Washington, D.C., where more people are not married than are married. This map shows the total births per woman in countries around the world. The darkest blue areas have less than 1 child per woman, like China. And the darkest red countries have 6 to 7 children on average, like many countries in Africa.
This person heard a mimic calling their name in the dark. Watch.
Okay.
Right now? As you should be. You were by yourself in the dark.
Ew, it smells weird in my mouth.
This is like some found footage type stuff. So they're kicking around the ball. Pretty normal stuff.
Oh, that just went.
Mistake number 1.
Don't go out there. Whole movie 101.
Go back tomorrow and go get it. Don't worry about it right now.
Hello?
You hear that?
You heard it?
Get out of there now. Turn and run.
That would have been gone.
Looks like there's something else in those woods.
Oh no.
You hear that?
I'm done.
That was their own voice.
Smart.
Stay weird, y'all. It's a weird world.
What is going on in the skies over El Paso, Texas? It seems like every day there's a brand new sighting of something that doesn't belong in the nighttime sky. A woman and her son were out in their backyard when they heard something flying over that did not sound or look like a plane. She took her phone and quickly recorded. Take a look at this video. Look at this.
What is that?
What the fuck? Look at that, holy shit! What is that? What is this? Watch.
Mom. Dude, what the fuck was that?
Excuse the language, but I don't blame them. What the heck was that? It seems like every day we're starting to see different unidentified flying objects over major cities in the US and around the world. What are your thoughts on what the heck that was? Let me know in the comments, and as always, I'd love to hear from you.
UFO?
The basilisk animatronic in Harry Potter and the Chamber of Secrets was mostly practical effects, and it's a 30-foot long animatronic. Let's talk about it. Here's Bro getting hosed down for his take. This is actually horrific to see how. Here's another horrifying photo of it before it was like painted or whatever. Look how big it is in comparison to this person, like and how long. 30-foot long, 1.5 tons. Here's some more information about it if you want to pause to read. I was under the impression that this was all CGI up until like a couple years ago. And now, just to think about this animatronic existing is freaking me out. I'm not even scared of snakes, but I hate this thing. And if you paused to read a moment ago, you would have seen that it has 3-foot deep jaws.
Damn.
So this thing is huge. Why is Bro looking at me like that? Here's another little thing of it behind the scenes where you see like the arm dolly doing it, and then it goes into Salazar Slytherin's mouth. Sick! I used to be an absolutely massive Harry Potter fan. Like, it was everything to me growing up. And Harry Potter and the Chamber of Secrets is my favorite Harry Potter movie, and I've seen it probably over 1,000 times. I no longer like Harry Potter nearly as much as I did because of J.K. Rowling. So thanks for ruining it for me, lady. But at least this animatronic can keep me on my toes.
You guys to meet Young Hoon Kim. He is from South Korea, and he is the smartest man alive. He has the highest IQ, which is 276. He's number 1 in the world, highest IQ. This man says that he believes that Jesus Christ is God. And this is monumental because a lot of people who are smart like to say that people who believe in a God are not as intelligent. But here we have the most intelligent man on the face of the planet alive, who is saying that Jesus Christ is Lord, and he believes that all scientists, all quantum physics, all everything leads back to Jesus Christ. So I believe that Jesus is the way, the truth, and the life. No man comes to the Father but by Jesus. A bold declaration, because people who are this smart, they are professing to be wise, but then they become fools. It would be so easy for him to be super conceited and cocky and give himself all the glory, but no, he takes the attention off of himself and he gives it to Jesus Christ. This is amazing. Amazing story.
To see this, it might already be too late. If you're like a lot of people, you probably had dreams of going to these beaches, finding the sea sparkle, touching it, going and swimming with it. But yeah, this sea sparkle you see, yes, it is real, but it's also not that safe. So this is actually caused by bioluminescent algae, which of course isn't great, especially if you're going to ingest or touch it. It's these microscopic algae, which is dinoflagellates, don't know how to pronounce it, but they are what cause this amazing phenomenon, and yeah, it's amazing to look at. But a lot of people want to put their hands in it because it has a cool sensation, or they want to actually go swimming in it. But people have actually been evacuated from beaches for swimming in it because it's actually quite dangerous. When it blooms and obviously gives this amazing effect, it actually releases highly toxic chemicals, which of course are not great for you if you're going to be swimming in it. And it literally poisons the water or the sand, depending on where it is. Although the glow looks gorgeous, it's actually a warning sign sent from these little guys who are basically saying, hey, we're about to poison the water, get out. And yeah, it can make you quite ill if you were to digest it, or if you're touching it, come out in a lot of rashes or cuts and things like that. So just stick to looking at it, don't swim in there, mate.
Thanks for the warning.
Why police have just found a woman from Russia living in a cave with her 2 kids
in India. But strangely, they don't really have a clear picture on how they got there, who they really are, or how long they've been living in this cave. Reports say that authorities in India happened to notice some bright clothes outside a cave while on a routine patrol throughout the forest. When they decided to investigate, they found a 40-year-old Russian national along with her 2 daughters, aged only 5 and 6. Police said it appeared that they were living in this cave, and when they told them it was dangerous because of landslides in the region, snakes, and other wild animals, the mother replied, "Animals and snakes are our friends. Humans are dangerous." Either way, they took her in for questioning, where she said that her name is Nina Kutina and claimed that for the last 15 years she's been living all over the world. Authorities said that they've managed to track down her husband, who is apparently an Israeli businessman who's currently in India, and they're now trying to persuade him to pay for them to be sent back to Russia. And according to the mother, this isn't the first time she's lived in the cave. In fact, she even said that one of her daughters was born in a cave in a different part of India, and that they're all happy, safe, and living healthy this way. And ironically, now that she's been taken out of a cave and put in a detention center waiting to be deported, she's complaining about how dirty it is and how there's not enough food.
Can y'all even go say what what she said was wrong? How she said animals are friends, but humans are more dangerous, bro. In today's age, man, this time, I don't think she was lying, bro. That's not a crazy take. But the fact that she was living in a cave for 15 years, bro, and no animals and stuff was disturbing her, so I don't know if she was on or something or not, but I couldn't do that, man. 15 years in a cave, not for me.
This might be the clearest picture and video we have ever gotten from a UFO that's real and not AI. This was captured in Colombia, in the Medellin. Look at this shit, y'all.
I'm gonna zoom in.
4K.
If anybody got any other bright ideas on what this may be, let me know down below in the comments. Because I know it's not a balloon. It's not a hot air balloon because it's not up that high. And look at the jump spinning. Look at it. It got flames in the bottom. This is weird, fool.
It's like a diamond shape.
A diamond metallic shape.
No, that's not a balloon. That's a big balloon.
And then the jump disappeared, y'all. That jump was just hovering, spinning. And then it started going away, y'all. Look.
Could be an orb.
So like I said, somebody let me know down below in the comments what y'all think that is. Because me personally, I don't know what that is. I have never seen nothing like that before.
Now that I'm seeing this shit go viral, I can't unsee this shit. They out here saying that Kai Cenat looked like he did his something. Hold on 1 second. Look at this shit. Look at this shit. Look at this shit. And that ain't the only video. Hold on 1 second. Look at this shit right here. Look at this shit.
Is this Kai Cenat? Or am I tripping?
What the fuck?
That's him at 19. This is Kai's dad.
Nah, man.
Okay, so
Kai, good guy. I love everything Kai do, but you cannot tell me that those videos that I just showed right there do not resemble that young man. No disrespect. But you know Diddy was running around the Bronx. Mount Vernon is right there. And where Kai Cenat come from? The Bronx. Am I right or wrong? If I'm wrong, just let me know. If I'm right, just tell me I'm right. And if you think he looked like Kai Cenat, or you think Kai Cenat looked like him when he was young, let me know. I'm out.
Just because Kai and Diddy, I guess that's from the Bronx, but people keep drawing those parallels, but I personally don't see it, man. It's like, bro, people have been dragging this joke for a while. We saw what happened at the Stream Awards. Obviously, we can tell Kai is kind of over it. I think, obviously, man, people, they have their theories, but I think it's time to wrap it up, bro. We all know, man, Kai Cenat is not Diddy's son. That's just a fact, man. We need to move on, bro.
Hear about the Bigfoot War of 1855.
What?
This happened in eastern Oklahoma. And it started with the Choctaw Native Americans and the farmers in this region of Oklahoma. They noticed that a lot of food and supplies were missing from their camps, from their homes, from their farms. So like, what in the world is taking from her stuff. They didn't think much of it, but it continued to get worse and worse and worse until women and children started being kidnapped. And it got to a point to where there were so many women and children that the Choctaws set up a hunting party to go catch whoever's kidnapping their women and children. And it was led by a man named Joshua LaFour. But with this party, there was a Choctaw warrior, Hamas Tubby. Him and his 6 sons were all over 7 feet tall, and they weighed 300 pounds or more. They were called the Light Horsemen because they were such good warriors on horseback, even with their stature and size. That's awesome. They rode for a full day to this forest in eastern Oklahoma, pulled out his little spyglass thing, and he ordered the entire hunting party to charge. So they charged into the woods, and they came into an opening, and they saw these creatures. They described them as ape-like creatures scurry into the woods. There was body parts everywhere.
From cave paintings to space telescopes, mysterious anomalies have been recorded in our skies for as long as we can remember. Massive objects appearing to descend from above, often surrounded by beings kneeling in fear and awe. Many ancient texts, like the Anunnaki, the Book of Enoch, the Mayan Popol Vuh, and the Vedas from Hindu mythology, all warn of some form of all-powerful watchers that come down from the heavens and direct the course of humanity to their will. Today, deep space telescopes detect faraway visitors making their way towards us, like 3i Atlas, the enormous interstellar object set to pass by us in November, which many scientists have been warning exhibits characteristics of intelligent design. A pattern we've kind of seen recorded across thousands of years of human existence, etched into the walls of caves, stone tablets, statues, parchment scripts, books, and now the internet. Visitors that, according to their stories, fundamentally rewrote the trajectory of civilization as we know it. But don't worry guys, it's probably just a comment, right?
Lilo and Stitch as a whole, you know what that was made for? What? That was made because Disney bought so many resorts in Hawaii and they needed a way to market and bring people over to Hawaii. Oh, word. They needed to up the consumerism and up the tourism in Hawaii, so they made that movie.
No, I didn't know that.
Yeah,
that's some W marketing.
Yeah, bro, and then, bro, yo, think about it. Disney resorts, man. They tied travel and entertainment from the start. Yeah. Oh, if we make a movie about this place, people will travel there. And they'll pick a place that doesn't have a lot of, I guess, resorts built or anything going on yet. Boom, let's build it up and then drop the movie.
That's some smart marketing, bro.
Yeah. Did you bag ISO Speed, man? He's getting paid by the countries to promote the places he's going to. The tourism departments of these countries are paying him so that he can promote it.
That's so smart, man.
That's why he only went to specific countries, man, because he's getting the bag for it.
Yeah, because if you think about it, it's like, why would Speed be in Mongolia? Like,
really? I don't know about that one. I just think Speed likes to travel, man. It's one of the popular live streamers, so the bag gonna come to him naturally.
You can now DoorDash sunlight from space. Fleck Orbital just made it possible to order sunlight from space and beam it to any location on Earth. They've launched satellites with massive mirrors that reflect sunlight down to specific coordinates you choose, creating a 3-mile circle of light in 4-minute intervals anywhere on the planet. The original purpose was charging solar farms at night so they can generate power 24/7, completely eliminating the biggest limitation of solar energy, which is that the sun goes down. But now they're accepting orders from anyone, meaning you can light up all of Lower Manhattan with a single tap on an app. For disaster relief, this is revolutionary because when hurricanes knock out power grids, you can instantly provide emergency lighting for rescue operations, charge solar batteries and devices, and help stranded people signal their location to first responders. But here's where it gets concerning. This same technology could be weaponized to blind enemies or disrupt operations, and there are massive questions about who gets to control where sunlight gets beamed and whether you need consent to shine it on someone's property. Nocturnal wildlife depends on darkness for survival, and this could disrupt entire ecosystems. Plus, we're adding more satellites to an already crowded orbit, which increases collision risks and space debris. When one company can control sunlight itself and sell it as a service, that's either the solution to our energy crisis or the beginning of something we're not ready to handle.
The beginning of something we're not ready to handle, bro. People should not have the control over sunlight and make money over it. And so, and like, yeah, who's gonna be like, yeah, I control sunlight? Like, what? How can you even claim that? There's no way you can like even claim that, bro. That's going down a dark path, man. Like the movie The Lorax, man, where they was literally selling like bottled air, bro. Sunlight is a basic need, man. How is that even possible to begin with? Like to regulate, to govern that. That's going down a dark old world.
Pearl fell from the Empire State Building. You would probably falls. Its body spreads out and its tail fans wide, giving the air more space to push back up on it as it falls, meaning it could only ever reach about 20 miles per hour, which means it would probably survive the fall. Now, if you dropped it all the way up from a plane, it could still spread out its body and plop safely to the ground.
You can't tell me this kid is not 56 on the dot.
You do look old.
These kids, man. Look at them.
Cabbage Patch Kids?
Look at their face. These kids, man. You can't tell me this kid.
We just found out the person behind the AI Yeti and Sasquatch videos, and I don't know if I like these videos anymore. Not only were these my most favorite videos that I've seen in a long time, they were literally the most refreshingest use of AI that I've ever seen. Because it was just like chill and fun, but now it's not so chill and fun anymore. Because literally all of these accounts, whether it's a Sasquatch, Yeti, bear, even the monkeys, have literally been so fun and entertaining to watch. And with the amount of AI slop that I've literally been seeing everywhere since the Google VO drop, now that I know what I know, everything just got so much more worser. Because I have literally been watching these videos like they are real people. It is filling the massive outdoor voice hole that has been left in my heart. Every new video keeps filling my hole even more and more, but now it just doesn't. Literally move like real people. The details from the fur to the GoPro on some of these is just mind-blowing. I hope I see more of these videos because they are literally the most funnest things ever. However, I don't want certain people making them. Hopefully new people start making these videos, because these are literally just going to keep getting more and more better. For right now, I can no longer watch these videos. You still going to be watching these videos?
Yeah, I'm telling y'all right now that something is up with this so-called moon or whatever it is. Because look at the skies of Oakland, California the other night, y'all. Because why are these animals are reacting to the so-called moon or this second sun? And it's not just the crows, y'all, but everybody is saying that the animals are acting off. I made a video. Everyone was recording what was going on with these crows. I don't know if they are reacting to the energy of the moon or the second sun. But like I said, y'all, so many people have been saying that the animals are acting strange. And now look at these crows. Look at the moon. So do y'all believe because this thing is a lot closer that it's playing on the frequencies of animals and people? Yep. Because this moon being a lot closer makes sense as to why animals and both humans alike have been acting and feeling strange. Because the moon controls the waters, the internal waters within us. And because we are ruled by our emotions, this explains the reason why everything has been up and down lately. You're feeling amazing, and then you hit a low point, like, and then don't forget they told us that we have another moon in our atmosphere now, and then it's gonna be here until like the 2050s. Like, bro, we didn't learn any of this when we were younger. We were told we had one moon and one sun. And then somewhere in the mix, they talk about Planet X or Planet 9, and then after that, we never heard about it again. Hold on, Planet X, hold on. Could this be what they mean when they talk about Planet X? You see how the flares make the X, right? And then you see the huge orb, you see all the beautiful Mardi Gras colors. Y'all see that, right? The purple, the teal, and all this type of stuff. Is this what they talking about? Look at that, X.
X.
X. But there's a huge orb always in the background. You see what I'm saying?
Yep.
X. Y'all see that? And then again, the huge orb. X again. And then there you go with the huge orb behind it.
Pattern.
I don't know what's going on, y'all, but they are trying to hide something. Because look at this picture. Why does it look like a whole nother world back there? I mean, look at the detail of the so-called clouds, right? Look at this, y'all. What are they hiding? This picture right here just blows my mind. Look at the detail. Just look at the detail. But let me know down in the comments below, y'all. The animals are everybody's feeling it, y'all. Not everybody. The shift is here, y'all. Let's continue to get it.
The world's freakiest sea animals.
Okay.
In July 2022, people in Chile gathered around to see what a fishing boat caught off their shore. The creature was 16 feet long, and the video got 20 million views when it was posted online. Because people were debating whether or not this was an actual sea monster. But I'm sad to say it's not. This is an oarfish, a fish that typically lives about 3,000 feet below the surface. Next, at Laguna Beach in May 2021, people were shocked when they saw a terrifying football-looking fish washed up on the shore. This was a Pacific football fish, a fish that usually lives 3,000 feet under the surface. Basically, remember that terrifying light bulb fish from Finding Nemo?
Yep.
That's this guy. They're actually so rare that even marine biologists know very little about this species and what causes them to wash up on on shores. And in 2022, a fisherman named Sean Bailey was sailing around off the coast of San Diego when he spotted a weird ghost-looking creature floating on the surface of the water. But after a few minutes, it started moving again because it was just sunbathing. This is a mola mola, or an ocean sunfish. These fish live 660 feet below the ocean surface and prey on jellyfish, and then warm up by sunbathing on top of the surface. And this allows seagulls to eat the parasites off its body. So for them, it's kind of like a free trip to the spa.
These villagers dig up their dead family members every 3 years, and you won't believe why. These people are from a village in Indonesia, and during their Minyan festival, they get their ancestors' corpses, clean them, then put them all out to dry, and dress them in new clothes as a ritual. And the reason is because they believe they're showing them love and respect.
This is why you should be scared of mirrors. Reddit user Liberated Man said that when he was about 12 years old, he woke up in the middle of the night to go to the bathroom. He walked across the hall to the bathroom, hit the lights, and was about to reach for the toilet when he glanced up and saw a face in the mirror. It wasn't his face. He said that it was as if someone was on the other side, standing to the right, with their face right next to the glass, staring at him. He only saw it for the briefest moment, but it seared into his brain. He screamed and ran out to find his dad. His dad, of course, investigated and then calmed him down, or tried to. They had a prayer session because he was so freaked out. Eventually, he went back to sleep. He said that fast forward to his 30s, he had forgotten all about the event until one night, while visiting, his dad quietly brings it up. He said, "Remember that one time you saw a face in the mirror?" It suddenly came back to him in a rush of a memory, sending a chill down his spine. He said, "Yeah, I remember." And then his dad said, "Well, sometimes I think about that night." He looked down at the floor with a serious expression, and then he said, "I saw it too." He went on to describe exactly what Reddit user Liberated Man had seen. Neither of them have any idea what it was. Apparently, when his dad went to investigate, he saw it and had a freak out of his own. And the prayer session was as much for his own nerves as it was his son's.
So they both saw the same thing. So they weren't tripping there. And a Reddit user saw the same thing too, so maybe those two stories are linked. It's a creepy rabbit hole you gotta get into. That's an edit, man. Call them out.
Yeah! Scientists just did something you are not going to appreciate. Trust me, you're going to want to favorite this video because this could be the start of something horrendous. Because they thought today was a brilliant day to cut open 200 million-year-old parasitic eggs that they found in fossilized feces. You know, dinosaur shit. They found one of the earliest predators were infested with roundworms, otherwise known as nematodes, and other parasites. I feel like I shouldn't need to say this. Don't fucking do that! I swear after 2020 we've learned nothing! And this hasn't come long after scientists revived a previously extinct ancient worm. But don't worry, that's another horror for another day. I'll be the first to say it, I do feel like we're opening Pandora's box. We revive an ancient parasite out of the good of our hearts and then it gets out of control and destroys the world. These are the parasite samples, by the way, if you wanted to see them. They are being called Morphotype 4. Bear in mind, we are nervous about permafrost melting and releasing ancient pathogens and diseases into our worlds. And now we're willingly sawing open dinosaur shit that includes a parasite. I mean, does 1 + 1 = 5? Personally, I'm not a fan of this one, so send this to a friend because they need to know what's going on. I'm terrified.
Forbidden places.
Why would we even do that, bro? With all that's going on in the world right now, we think that's a good idea to examine some parasites that probably went extinct a million years ago because it was in dinosaur crap. Now we're trying to reintroduce it. It's just gonna decimate the ecosystem, man. Why do we do this to ourselves? Why?
Is that you can never visit. Snake Island is an island off of the coast of Brazil, filled with deadly snakes. Rising sea levels cause this piece of land to become an island, allowing for the snakes to flourish in their own environment. There are now up to 5 snakes every square meter, and you are not allowed to go here. In Svalbard, Norway, there is a global seed vault, aka the Doomsday Vault. It is the world's seed bank, storing samples of crops from all over the world just in case of a global catastrophe. The tomb of Qin Shi Huang in China holds an army of warriors made of clay.
It protects the burial spot of the first emperor of China who died in 210 BC, and we only discovered this tomb in 1974. Poveglia Island in Italy was used to exile hundreds of thousands of victims of the plague. It is said to be one of the most haunted places on Earth, and a dark local legend says that 50% of the soil is made up of human remains. Follow for more.
Don't go there, bro. Most haunted place in the
Was
world.
this the worst form of medieval punishment? If you found yourself as a prisoner in a medieval castle, you may be subject to the dungeon, torture, or even execution. But
Oh,
what could
man.
be worse? Well, let me tell you about the oubliette, also known as the Forgotten Room. This was a specialized type of prison in some medieval castles, perhaps for the worst of offenders.
Oof.
It was a narrow shaft, sometimes 8 feet deep, with only one entrance and exit, a trapdoor located on the ceiling. The shaft being so narrow that the individual would be forced to stand. They couldn't kneel, they couldn't sit, they could barely turn around. To fall alone into the oubliette would sometimes break bones. In some cases, these would even be built into the upper walls of the castle, so the victim could hear the hustle and bustle of castle life, but could not escape. Depending on the situation or individual, they might throw you some food and water if you were to be kept alive. In most cases, you were subject to stand there, starve to death, and then be devoured by vermin. The most you could do was stand there, look up at the grate, and realize you cannot escape. Oh yeah, did I also mention sometimes jagged stones would be placed at the bottom? And of course, you were also subject to stand in your own waste. Lep Castle, which is located in Ireland, had quite an active oubliette. So many skeletons were discovered in one in the 1920s that it took 3 cartloads to transport them off the property. Between the sleep deprivation, the starvation, the psychological torture, and the claustrophobia, I think this is the worst form of medieval torture.
Definitely up there, man. You just standing. Say can't bend, can't do anything. Up street all that time. That's insane. It's another edit, man. Like I said, if you guys see any edits, call them out too. We learning together.
Facts that I wish I didn't know. When you die, the last thing to go is your hearing. So as all your other mortal sensations are leaving this world, the last thing you're ever going to experience are the sounds going on around you, which very well could be like your family members crying or cheering. By the year 2050, there's going to be more plastic in the ocean than fish. When pigs get a cold, like a cough, very often they will shoot their intestines out of their anus, and farmers have to, like, stuff it back in.
Never knew that. What the hell, pigs?
Fun fact, Michel Lotito, aka
Crazy.
Mr. Eats Everything, was a French performance artist who once ate an entire Cessna 150 airplane. Holding the Guinness World Record for strangest diet, Michel first became aware of his strange affliction when he was 9 years old, and the glass he was drinking from broke, and he began chewing on the broken glass fragments and liked them. Throughout the course of his life, he consumed 8 bicycles, 15 supermarket trolleys, 7 TV sets, 6 chandeliers, 2 beds, also a waterbed full of water, a pair of skis, a coffin, 1,600 feet of steel chain, a ton of random stuff like glasses, plates, and razor blades, and of course, a Cessna 150 airplane. He began eating the plane in 1978 and spent 2 years consuming it bite by bite, cutting the plane into edible pieces about 1 to 2 centimeters long until he finally finished his meal in 1980. To protect his stomach and intestines from getting pierced by any sharp objects, Mr. Lotito would consume a ton of mineral oil and water during his meals to help the metal, glass, or whatever else move through his system. Michel Lotito passed away in 2007 at the age of 57 from natural causes.
My man ate a whole plane. If you would have told me that a couple of days ago, I wouldn't have believed you. I'm gonna have to look him up, see what else he ate, bro. Any other world records? He had that broken many, man. Eating
These are the
that
world's
type of
freakiest land
things.
animals. In 2022, a TikToker named Kostika uploaded a video that showed a weird-looking creature running around his backyard. Once the video went viral, wildlife experts took to the comments to explain that it was a lesser blind mole rat, and this is because of how its tiny eyes are nearly tucked under its skin. They spend most of their time underground creating tunnels with their massive teeth. In 2020 in British Columbia, a woman was walking around when she saw a bug that looked like a tarantula with wings. She then shared a photo of the bug to Facebook, where wildlife experts explained that this was a very big moth called a Polyphemus moth. These moths have huge bodies, and despite their scary looks, they don't have mouths to bite. And they have a lifespan of about 2 weeks. weeks. And in 2024 in Sydney, Australia, a TikToker named Blonde heard a weird tapping sound coming from her window at night, and she went to investigate. And what she found is like something out of nightmares. At her window, a bat was tapping on the glass, trying to find a way to escape the storm. And it stayed around until the next morning, where Blonde had to call a bat expert to come remove it. But this turned out to be a non-aggressive species of a bat known as a flying fox. And they only eat fruit or flowers. They also struggle to keep warm when they're wet, which explains why it was at her window. Now I just feel sorry for the little guy.
What is the dirtiest country in the world? Well, firstly, the cleanest country in the world is Denmark. It's also labelled the most environmentally friendly. But what country is the dirtiest? In 5th place, it's Pakistan. Pakistan is home to the world's most polluted city, Lahore, and has become a major problem in Pakistan. The air is voted hazardous for breathing, and Pakistan is also voted 3rd highest for public defecation. In 4th place, it's Bangladesh. Bangladesh suffers from pollution also, mostly from vehicles, factory fumes and dust. The air quality in Dhaka, one of the world's most crowded cities, is also labelled as very poor and dangerous. Serious overpopulation in Bangladesh is also a huge factor contributing to this. In 3rd place, it's Vietnam. Vietnam is very polluted due to the transportation system and the excess cars and motorbikes on the road. The water is very polluted due to trash being thrown away and neglected, and a lot of the popular cities can be covered in litter. In 2nd place, it's Myanmar. Myanmar has suffered badly with trash pollution, but most of all, water pollution. Myanmar have a long-lasting problem with dirty water, more than anything. Being a river cleaner is a job, collecting trash such as plastics and cans, then selling it, making up to $10 a day. Finally, in 1st place, it's India. India have suffered really badly from air pollution, trash and hygiene issues. It is #1 in the world for public defecation, and overpopulation has been becoming a concern for India as the country is growing at a very fast rate. Most of the lakes and rivers are poisonous and hazardous, and the pollution in some areas is very severe, making it the most polluted country on Earth. If you enjoy videos like these, please follow our page for more facts.
We learned out here today, Seekers. I didn't know, man. I didn't think India was going to be on that list. Most polluted in the world. We got to do better, man. We got to take care of our planet, bro. We only have on the Earth, man, so we got to do our best to take care of it. I wasn't expecting that. Hey, man, that's why I say these facts. I'm learning just like y'all. Edit, man. I think, man, I'm getting better at spotting the edits. Watching these videos every day with you guys.
Can you believe that this was almost the Ghostface mask for Scream? While scouting out locations for the first Scream movie, they stumbled upon a mask in an abandoned house. It was produced by a company named Funworld, and it was called the Peanut-Eyed Ghost. Well, Funworld wanted a little bit too much money for them to use their mask, so they went to the drawing boards. Here are just a few of the concepts that they drew up. Quite different, huh? They were eventually able to come to an agreement, and thus one of the most iconic horror masks of all time was born. This may look like a Wish.com Michael Myers mask, but it's actually from the original movie. 43 years ago, they painted a Captain Kirk mask white, and now we have one of the most iconic horror killers ever. I'm actually impressed with how well it held up over that long. Who is the most realistic psychopath in cinematic history? Starting in 2014, Belgian professor Samuel Leeston wanted to know which movie characters best represented psychotic traits. Over the course of 3 years, him and 10 of his friends watched over 400 movies, spanning from 1915 all the way to 2010, trying to find the best movie psycho. Believe it or not, Norman Bates, Patrick Bateman, and Hannibal Lecter didn't even make the cut. The team believed that their traits did not quite fit the psychopath mold. They all agreed that the best movie psychopath was Anton Chigurh in No Country for Old Men. They wrote that he seems to be effectively invulnerable and resilient to any form of emotion and humanity, and I 100% must agree. Their runners-up were Hans Beckert in the 1931 German film M, and Henry Lee Lucas in Henry, Portrait of a Serial Killer. Who is your favorite movie psychopath?
These are the safest countries to go if World War III was to start.
That's mind blowing.
And considering the news at the moment, you might want to sit down, shut up, and listen. So favorite this video, just in case you ever need it. I hope we never do. Now there are countries all around the world, but But let's start with Argentina. Now, if this was to all break out, it's likely that the world would look similar to Terminator 2 Judgment Day at the end. It's likely that all the smoke from all of these will block out the sun, this resulting very quickly in famine and crop failure. But don't panic, because we have Argentina. In Argentina, there are an abundance of resistant crops, such as wheat. This is one of the places on Earth that actually has a chance of surviving World War III. Next up, we have one of the big ones, Switzerland. Now, aside from the fact that it is incredibly neutral when it comes to politics, it has a landlocked geography and mountainous terrain, as well as being one of the countries with an insane amount of underground bunkers. Actually, there's 26,000 of them, which are actually all very hidden, which will mean you will be very safe. As well, just in case there is an invasion, Switzerland literally has booby traps everywhere. It's actually kind of insane and awesome. Next up, we have one of the big ones, Antarctica. Now, barely anyone thinks about going there, which is why it's pretty safe. However, as you can tell, it's a bit fucking cold, so bring a coat.
Yep.
Next up, we have Greenland. Now, it was in this movie, and they all survived. But on top of that, it's remote, mountainous, and politically neutral, making it kind of an ideal refuge point. And on top of that, worst case scenario, you're not too far away from the global seed vaults, which, you know, has a lot of seeds in it for planting, and thus food and survival. There are literally so many more countries on this list. So if you'd like me to go through more countries in a part 2, let me know. And hopefully we'll never need this video. But just in case we do send this to a friend, it could save their life one day. Elon!
One of the biggest mysteries in history has finally been solved. Alright, firstly, in 1915, explorer Ernest Shackleton and his crew set off for a voyage to explore Antarctica. However, before they could make it to Antarctica, the ship they were on, known as the Endurance, got trapped and crushed by the ice. Now, with no other options left, all of the members on board had to navigate a lifeboat hundreds of miles to safety. On this journey to safety, all of the crew survived many storms, even one being a hurricane, until they got onto a rescue boat. Even though they failed to get to Antarctica, this became a famous story because they didn't let a setback crush their spirit. But for over a century, the biggest mystery was, where did the ship end up? And believe it or not, but in 2022, the ship was actually discovered, and they were so close to where they wanted to be. It was found 2 miles underwater, and because of the frigid temperatures, it was actually pretty well preserved.
I think that's just a sign, man. Like I said, they didn't give up. They didn't stop. They literally couldn't, bro. That was their way of survival, man. They didn't give up. They didn't stop. They didn't let that crush their spirits, and they found their way home. But they was like right there, bro. Goes to show you, man. You can literally be right there. You never know, man. You know that's an edit. Stop playing with us.
A few wholesome history facts to brighten your day. In 1957, Northeast Airlines Flight 823 crashed onto Rikers Island. Prison staff and inmates alike ran to help the survivors. To acknowledge the heroic actions of the 57 inmates who helped, 30 were released and 16 got a reduced sentence. When Anthony Smith was 4 years old, he was fitted with a hearing aid, but soon became depressed and refused to wear it, saying, "Superheroes don't wear hearing aids." His mother, desperate for help, reached out to Marvel. In response, they created the superhero Blue Ear in his likeness. The zip-up cardigans that you would always see Mr. Rogers wear were actually made by his mother. She also knitted them for military troops in Pennsylvania. One of them is now located in the Smithsonian Museum. 3 completely useless yet interesting facts. Have you ever wondered why barns are typically painted red? It has nothing to do with the color itself, but for its usefulness. Long ago, different colored paints and sealers weren't an option for farmers. They needed to make sure they found or made a paint or sealer that would protect the wood on their barn. They would seal their barns with linseed oil. They would add milk, lime, and iron oxide. Rust would kill fungi and mosses and worked as a great sealant. It also turned the mixture red in color. Have you ever wondered why there's cotton inside of some pill bottles? The tradition of doing so started in the early 1900s when Bayer would put cotton in their bottles to prevent breakage of their pills during shipment. And finally, what is the purpose of putting your phone in airplane mode when you're riding on a plane? I mean, there's absolutely no way that could cause a problem while you're on an airplane, but it actually could. You see, airplane mode disables all wireless and cellular signals coming from the phone. Believe it or not, those signals could actually interfere with important...
Let's talk a little bit about what's going on.
Airplane mode is a must on the plane.
A lot of the locals there who believe what they're watching is a serial killer on the streets. Somebody who is roaming the city undetected, and it all ties back to Lady Bird Lake and all of the bodies that continue to appear in that lake under very strange circumstances. So they think that this is connected to the nightlife on Rainy Street. Thought being that a lot of young men, while they're out at bars, are getting profiled at these bars. The suspicion is that their drinks are getting drugged and then they are wandering off on foot. Now, pathway-wise, they eventually make their way to Lady Bird Lake, but somebody is following these men. The suspicion being that they are drowned in the lake and that the bodies are recovered. However, there is somebody who is suspected to be a survivor of an alleged attack. So what he remembered was that he was definitely drugged while he was out at a bar and then was on foot. While on foot, he was then crossing a bridge near Lady Bird Lake where he was pushed off by someone. Whoever that mysterious figure was who did push him off the bridge, it's an unknown. And I would say the bigger question is, why are the Austin PD not investigating this?
They need to, but that's what I say, man. When you out, cover your drink. If you walk away, if you have to go to the bathroom and you come back to that drink, might as well just dump it out, get a new drink, man. You don't know what's in it. Learned that very early on, Seekers. It ain't worth it.
This is the case of the girl that vanished into thin air. Her name is Yuki Onishi. On April 29th of 2005, 5-year-old Yuki was out celebrating Greenery Day with her mother. It's a national holiday in Japan, and what they do is they go out, they celebrate nature, and they collect bamboo shoots. So Yuki, her mom, and 60 other people were out doing this. Yuki was so excited that she found her first bamboo shoot, she showed her mother, and then she ran off to find more. That's when she disappeared and was never seen from again. When they realized that she was nowhere to be found, they actually brought in search dogs and the police. This is where it gets really strange. The dogs followed her scent to the middle of the forest and then just stopped. The scent stopped in the middle of the forest as if she had just disappeared into thin air from that spot.
Whoa.
To this day, she has never been found and no one knows what happened. If you want to hear some theories, come back for part 2.
Creepy last words people said right before dying.
Scary.
Registered nurse Shirley Smith said that she had a very rich patient who was a true Satanist that was dying of cancer. The patient had upside-down crosses and a Satan's Bible by her bedside. Shirley said that she will never forget what happened. It was the middle of the summer, and yet it was so cold and dark in her room that you couldn't even stand it, even in the middle of the day. She said that it got so evil feeling in there that she had to call a priest to pray with her and her aides before they would even enter the room. When the patient passed away, she had not spoken in over 24 hours. And then all of a sudden, she sat straight up and said, "Satan, take me." And then she fell back on the bed. Shirley said that after she passed, the room got bright and extremely warm. Shockingly, when they moved the patient's body, they had to get rid of the mattress because where her body had been, it looked burnt. And the most horrible smell was emanating from the mattress cover. Needless to say, Shirley went to confession immediately because she did not want an evil spirit around her. A nurse said that one of their patients had a serious recurrence and had to be admitted. Over the course of several nights, he had become quite upset during rounds. He kept asking for his wallet, saying that he had to pay the ferryman. The medical student on rotation in the department took a quarter out of his pocket and put it in the patient's hand. The patient then dropped the coin into the cup on his bedstand and calmed down. Later that night, he passed away quietly. The nurse asked what happened. The medical student, who remembered his Greek mythology, said that the patient had to pay Charon, the ferryman, to be taken across the river Styx. A nurse said that he was doing rounds at a hospital. There was one 2-patient room, and one of the patients was a very loud and confused woman who could be quite a handful. On this particular night, she had a roommate who had passed away shortly before the nurse entered the room. She was DNR, so there was no code blue. When he entered the room, he noticed that the elderly lady, who was usually very loud and confused, was sitting quietly with her hands crossed neatly upon her lap. Something was different, and there was this look of serenity on her face. She asked him in a voice that seemed much younger and clearer than before, "Did you see them, young man? They're so beautiful." He said, "No, ma'am, there's no one else here." She said, "They're right next to you, talking to Mrs. Banneker. The angels. They're so beautiful." He said that he instantly felt every hair of his body stand up, and an electric tingle course up and down his spine. "They're not here for me this time," she said sadly.
They're cool. Look at them clouds. It's like a wave.
The hell is that?
That neat.
Who messed with the clouds? They're playing with us, man. Right in front of our faces.
33. 3. All die.
They're moving inside. You've got a bit more symbolism here. Clearly 3 6s all around this fruit.
Foxes, classic. Numerology, fox, 6, 6, 6.
Here we have some strong bow people. Whenever you see the bow there, that's a reference to Saturn. The ring around Saturn. Strong bow. It's not just robbing sons, it's robbing daughters as well. Robbing them of their health, loaded with chemicals. Real fruit in every drop. Where's the fruit, mate? Where is the fruit? One ring to rule them all. Sauron is running Aldi, people. That logo is Saturn. And that logo is Saturn. Now Coca-Cola is a little bit more difficult to spot because it is inverted, but clearly we've got the 6s all along here. When you look at it like this, you might not notice it, but if you invert it, 6, 6, 6. 100 millimeters, 10 grams of sugar. And then this whole section, just leave it alone, people. It's all Monsanto, it's all GMO wheat, cereal killers.
What they got going on in Phoenix, man? Looks like reality is like tearing the hole, bro, in space.
Walk out your door and look to the west. And there's these funny blue wings falling from, like, literally from the sky. Been about 3 or 4
I don't know what that is, bro.
Place somewhere in the United States where they can manipulate space and time, and I could see what they can do. That's when I went, wow. I saw different doors, right? 2090, the year 2090. I saw the year 2050. I saw the year 1940, and I saw the year 1550. These different doors, right? They had the dates on top. And what I saw was Nordic beings that looked like us. They were in charge of this technology that can go to different times. And we saw people coming back from the 2090s, coming back like with futuristic type of technology and clothes. And they take off their clothes, they go through a tube thing for cleansing, and they come back and they go to another year. The guy that was with me, he said, "Let me get we need to get the hell out of here. We can't see this. We need to get the heck out of here, because what we're seeing, I don't think we should be experiencing this."
Celebrities are using liquid crystal technology to be able to shapeshift and change. That's the claim of this YouTuber whose name is Offshoot1008, and he does some amazing painstaking work. His belief is that there is a technology that they use in their hair and they put on their skin, and that essentially allows them, a bit like a chameleon, that's how chameleons are able to change. So it's a real thing. These reptiles are already doing it. So if we took it a step further, why wouldn't a reptilian race have the ability to shapeshift as well using this liquid crystal technology? And if you can see in his videos, if you want to go ahead and take a look, is on YouTube, you can actually see when he slows it down, you can see the eyes change when they open their mouth. weird anomalies. Now, this is a really good, I just wanted to pick up on this one and let you know about this guy on YouTube in case you weren't aware, because it seems a lot of people are interested in the anomaly of so many celebrities looking alike and glitching.
I'm pretty sure the NBA is not going to like the fact that Jeremy Lin just exposed what a lot of us already knew and a lot of people was thinking, that the NBA is rigged. It's some rigging to it. Listen to what Jeremy Lin said, and then y'all got to watch the Dwight Howard body language. It don't lie, fool.
I'm trying to throw anyone under the bus, but there was one specific game where it really hit me was I had 20 and 10 after 3 quarters. We were up about 15 to 18. And in the 4th quarter in overtime, I didn't play 1 second. And so I'm looking at the assistant coach, watching our lead go down. I have 20 and 10 after 3 quarters. Like, I'm on pace to have a real nice game. And he goes, yeah, we got a call from above. You're done for tonight.
They call.
And so I was like, what? Like, who picked up the phone? How'd y'all get on the phone in the middle of the game? And he's like, yeah. I'm like, what happened? And they got a look from somebody in the crowd was like, no. Like, so me and this other player, the other player who was doing really, he had like 25 after 3 quarters. They were both like, yo, those two, they're done. And so we ended up losing in overtime. And this was against another team that was also tied for last. And they were trying to get, the best projection.
So essentially, he was saying the team that he was on, which I believe it was the Knicks, they were tanking games. Somebody higher up was like, hey, take them out. We got to lose these games. I don't think this is nothing new to me. I'm already hip to the game. Y'all let me know down below in the comments how y'all feel about this stuff.
I mean, it was freaking tanking, bro. But the fact that he said he had like 20-10 after 3 quarters and then played like 4th in overtime, bro. I mean, it was literally confirmed this year, right? That's why Adam Silver, like, they had to come out with like a whole new plan to like stop teams from tanking, bro. Especially with the Utah Jazz, man. We saw what they was doing, man. It was getting bad out there, bro. Man, what's up with these freaking sports? It's all like freaking insider information, man. Just to get the best. Just to get the so they can get the most money, man, when they be placing these bets and crap, bro. Or trying to get a draft pick. All this is still allegedly, though, so.
I've never seen an orb like this one because it has a message in it right there. This is a slowed down shot of the orb, but I'm going to show you some still images that show the digits that are in there very clearly.
Show us.
My dad is Chris Bledsoe. We filmed this at Wrightsville Beach during the State of the World Forum. This orb came out of the water and we watched it on the horizon for quite a while. He filmed this with his fancy camera. That's the original. This is an enhanced version.
0350.
This is it reflected, and here's another enhanced version. The same orb at a different time. This is the year of alignment, everyone. Just like the lady told my dad in 2012, our world is going to come into a new knowledge, and it seems like the phenomenon is speaking to us in more clear ways than they ever have before. They let us film this so that you could see it.
Can anybody tell me what's going on with this pine tree?
Nope. Can't lie to you, bro. What is that?
I don't get it.
I'm often asked, are there aliens among us? And I'll say that I am one, but...
Did y'all hear what he just said? Or was it just me, bro? It can't just be me.
Or you're from the future. They don't believe me. I think if anyone would know if there are aliens among us, it would be me. We have 9,000 satellites up there, and not once have we had to maneuver around an alien spaceship. So I'm like, I don't know. Bottom line is, I think we need to assume that life and consciousness is extremely rare, and it might only be us. And if that's the case, then we need to do everything possible to ensure that the light of consciousness is not extinguished. The way I view it is, the image in my mind is of a tiny candle in a vast darkness, a tiny candle of consciousness that could easily go out. And that's why it's important to make life multiplanetary, such that if there is a natural disaster or a man-made disaster on Earth, that consciousness continues. That's the purpose of SpaceX.
You're almost an alien, bro. Confirm.
right there, yo. Those are those evil children they're always talking about. Threatening me.
He's still
crazy as that. Isn't that wild? Okay, calm down.
I'm confused.
You're confused? Yo, this spring, we are going across here, because if you look, I don't know if you can see because of the fog. No, you can't see, it's too foggy. There's a chimney of an abandoned colonial house over here. In these woods. This spring we're going, yo.
Beside you.
Oh, I'm out.
I'm not even.
This is why nobody talks about the Bermuda Triangle anymore. Yeah, did you hear that they found an underwater UFO base in the Bermuda Triangle? For decades, we've all been wondering what really happens down there. People have blamed things like rogue waves, compass errors, methane bubbles, all of which have caused the disappearance of dozens of ships and planes over the years. But the truth might be way more concerning, because according to an alleged whistleblower leak, the Bermuda Triangle isn't just a ship and plane graveyard. It might just be home to this cloaked UFO facility that may have gotten here through a dimensional portal. Apparently, this isn't even just a base, it's an automated non-human intelligence factory that 3D prints UFOs custom built for different mission types. And it's believed to have been there for thousands of years, powered by massive crystal pyramids on the ocean floor. Now, this all sounds pretty out there, but maybe this could explain things like the electronic fog phenomena that pilots like Bruce Gernon have talked about over the years, along with time anomalies, compasses going haywire, and flights arriving way too early or way too late from their schedule, like time got bent somehow, even though the trip felt normal to the pilot. So if you've ever wondered why Flight 19 vanished, or why navigational instruments have been reported to just shut off on ships and planes, well, the leak claims that this facility has this automated defense perimeter, meaning that if you get too close, you either get vaporized or pulled through some kind of dimensional wormhole.
Anybody who know 50 wasn't going to be quiet. But when 50 was quiet, everybody was like, it's over for 50. He quiet. First 50 said he dropping a documentary about T.I. and Tiny. Post that on his Instagram, delete it. And everybody like, yo, 50 is scared. But if you read that caption under it, he said new music coming. So he dropped new music. And 50 just dropped some shit that's gonna stick. Let me explain. I hear people saying those bars wasn't up to par. I hear people saying that T.I. song, King song, and Little T.I. song was better than 50 shit that he dropped. But here's the thing though. That's a new Power Origins theme song. Which would mean anytime that show get played, let me say that to you again. Anytime that show gets played, you gonna hear about T.I. and Tiny. Now, Tip dropped some shit too. And I'm not gonna lie, it's fire. Just like the rest of the songs that drop. But listen to this. After this beef shit die down, because you know it's gonna die down, we might not remember these songs. But every time we watch Power Origins, you gonna hear them bars. And on top of that, 50 Cent, he dropping a documentary. I'm out.
Those 50 Cent beats, man, are always crazy, bro. I wasn't expecting 50 Cent and T.I. to be beefing in 2026, man. That wasn't on the bingo card. Stuck in a bottle factory, sit out. What the heck?
So bro ordered a double quarter pounder. Look at the flaky beef. Somebody said they left the wrapper still on there, but no. That looked like a regular burger gone wrong. Got this double quarter pounder in my meal tonight. Double quarter pound. How's that give you extra meat with plastic wrap? I done seen some people get a sandwich with no meat, just bun. No meat. Fast food, there's too many of these joints. I will never, ever forget this picture. There is always a Happy Meal close by. Makes no sense, bro. Health is wealth. You can make your own burger. You can make your own cheeseburger, your own fries. Then you gonna realize how you don't need to be eating that. See, you know what's the dupe of fast food too? A lot of y'all wouldn't cook this. You wouldn't cook cheese fries with bacon bits and burgers. Like if you had all these things in front of you and you was cooking, you would not be this unhealthy. But since it's so fast, like, let me get that. Let me get some chicken nuggets too, and a burger, and some fries, and let me get a fish fillet. Like, come on, bro, you wouldn't even be eating all that at one time.
I see the balloon. Oh hell! I look like a damn UFO.
Gap is getting paid by Sam Altman for your biometric information. I thought you should know that. As a recap, this orb is Sam Altman's solution to verify that you're human, when AI is indistinguishable. But what the hell is a device that takes photographs of your eyes doing in a store that sells jeans? According to this plaque, it's harmless. They're both San Francisco-based companies just showing each other some love. When reporter Sydney Hayes asked in person, this is the response you got. I think you're asking too many questions. You're getting into the gap of it all. Oh, those are very legitimate questions given the individuals in this picture. We have the president and CEO of Gap Inc., the president and CEO of Gap Brand, and you probably know this guy is Zach Posen, who's the chief creative officer. So even though it's only in one store in San Francisco, that is not the goal. And World will tell you that back in September, they launched this partner program. Their goal is to have an extensive retail presence because they want every single human being to have their photograph taken of their eyes so they can verify that they're human. It lists 3 benefits, but the reality is the second one, it's all money. They're getting paid for every single human being who verifies themselves with the orb in their stores. This is a potential big source of revenue for a brand that has over 3,500 brick and mortar stores. I don't see any disclosure that they're being paid. Isn't that an FCC violation? Even if there were a disclosure, we still need clear rules on where you can put these things. So in addition to their flagship stores, which is fine, you find them at partners like Razer, or for any random person who purchases them and puts them in a place of business. And that's the reason you may find a biometric device in a Brazilian restaurant in Orlando. But you can imagine some opportunist is going to come along and try to place them in places that's going to get the most signups. For example, at a bar to take advantage of people being intoxicated. Or placing them in high poverty areas to take advantage of the fact they get $50 for signing up. Remember, that's the reason they started in developing countries in the first place. Last fall, when everyone was distracted with a Cat's Eye commercial or the Santa Leanne collab, Gap was going after your eyes when you weren't watching.
Something. It's like, why would everybody was looking left? You're supposed to be looking right, bro. I had no idea, man, that they were freaking scanning people, bro. And they getting paid for it. Whew, man. I'm glad I watched these clips together with you guys, bro.
Truly horrific just went down at the U.S. Capitol building.
No one wants to fight for Israel!
Yeah, it's a very hard watch. But the reason why this happened is pretty significant. So during an Armed Services Subcommittee hearing, a Marine veteran and Senator candidate, Brian McGuinness, was forcibly removed and they ended up breaking his hand. Now, this happened after he stood up in the middle of the hearing and disrupted it by yelling this.
Israel is the reason for this war. America does not want to fight this war for Israel. Let's go.
Now that is when 2 officers grabbed him and attempted to drag McGuinness out of the room, which they explained later by saying that protests are not allowed inside the congressional buildings. But McGuinness did not go quietly. He resisted and he kept yelling. In fact, one of those men is actually one of the senators, Tim Sheehy, who joined the security. This is all while most senators in attendance refused to turn around.
Look at you guys, you're robots! You won't even look back! Oh my god, what is happening?
McGuinness now faces charges of assault on a police officer, resisting arrest, and more. But this comes as a debate in Washington is growing over how much influence Israel had in the U.S. entering this war with Iran, especially since Marco Rubio said this a couple of days ago.
There absolutely was an imminent threat, and the imminent threat was that we knew that if Iran was attacked, and we believed they would be attacked, that they would immediately come after us.
But, as always, what do you guys think?
We're looking at once top secret footage from the Cold War, a top secret mission known as Project Iceworm, an operation to build an underground city beneath the ice of Greenland, under the cover of Camp Century, a public science base. Utilizing diesel-powered streams of hot water, engineers cut long trenches into the ice, arched them with steel roofs, and then buried the whole grid under packed snow. concealing an entire hidden underground town with prefabricated buildings, corridors, and support spaces designed to house roughly 200 personnel. Power came from a PM-2A portable nuclear reactor, with the purpose to enable a second strike capability in the case of an ICBM launched by the Soviet Union at the US. According to official reports, the reactor was removed and by the mid-60s, the base was abandoned. With recent news, it's not hard to wonder if Project Iceworm 2.0 is underway.
Oh, wow. What if I told you that half your body isn't even you? Meaning your body right now is more of a colony than a person, and it's running way more of your body than you realize. They call it the microbiome, all while subconsciously affecting and controlling my mood and cravings. So you're telling me trillions of microscopic beings are living inside of me right now?
Hope they having a good time.
You motherfuckers. Who's really in control here? Ain't that suspicious? Y'all don't find the gut-brain relationship suspicious? Y'all don't think that this thing is a super suit? No, this can't be.
But what's up with underground cities, man? Jim Carrey, bro. People really think
Are y'all getting the message yet? Because why would a group of pastors come to the Oval Office and pray over the president for his protection and what's to come? You guys do know that America is in its karmic stages right now, y'all, right? And Trump is about to put down the hammer on this. Because in this video, Trump look like he's the one that's the aggressor. Like, he don't need protection. You get what I'm saying? Like, he's about to go to war. And everything that's happening on the planet right now, y'all. And do y'all remember the beginning of this year when those shamans in Peru, they were having the ceremony over the water and they were doing some crazy things to Trump? Look at this. He looks demonic over here. Look at this. And then this over here, they were pouring some type of substance on his picture, man. And only him for some reason too, man. So what do they know? So what do you guys think is coming, right? Because these people hold some type of scripture. They know something that we don't. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? They know something that we don't. They have access to the true books of history that has detailed information on what's actually to come. Because just like they need it, man. Let me know down in the comments below, y'all. The shit they see. Let's continue to get it. Peace out.
Some facts that'll make your day slightly better. Part 1. When a human sees a puppy, a chemical called dopamine is released in the brain. Elephants also release dopamine when they see people, meaning that they think we're cute in the same way we think puppies are cute. There's a YouTube channel called Dad, How Do I that teaches young people things that would typically be taught by a father figure. From how to change a tire to how to tie a tie, fans of the channel think it's super helpful. When you're on a walk with your dog and they stop to take a dump, you may notice that your fluffy friend is staring at you as they poop. They do this because they're in a defenseless position and they're trusting you to keep them safe. There are more public libraries in the US than McDonald's. Maasai people gave 14 cows to the US in their support. The man who played Mickey Mouse ended up marrying the woman who played Minnie Mouse, meaning that true love actually exists.
Really? This is some freaking interesting facts, because man, I never knew that, bro. The voice actor who played Mickey Mouse and the voice actress who played Minnie, they ended up married, bro. It's like the perfect pair, man. Like, what are the odds of that freaking happening, Seekers? I never knew that, bro. A Disney secret revealed? Hey, Seekers, like I said, tap in with us, man. You're gonna learn some new facts, bro. It's gonna blow your reality wide open.
These sisters had a competition to see who could sleep with their dad first.
This is Samantha Kirchner, and in 2018, she met her father. She was 17 at the time and always wanted her father in her life. She even met her half-sister and formed a close relationship with her. By September of 2018, Samantha and her half-sister were battling for attention from her dad in the most unexpected ways. That's when they decided to have a competition to see who could sleep with their father first. On September 10th, Samantha slept with her father for the first time, and in the following month, they ended up getting married. Samantha's mom was clueless about the marriage, and she ended up notifying the police that Samantha's father had inappropriately touched her. Samantha ended up admitting to police that her and her father had a sexual relationship, but they did not believe that they were actually related to each other. Police then asked Samantha on why she would even do this, with the possibility of this actually being her father, and she stated it was because she had a jealous competition with her half-sister. DNA tests later confirmed that that was actually her biological father. Police then arrested Samantha and her father, Travis Fieldgrove. In 2019, Travis was sentenced to 2 years in prison after pleading no contest in incest charges. Travis stated his actions embarrassed him and he deeply regrets sleeping with his daughter. His lawyer stated that he had a brain injury and was not a high-functioning person. In June of 2019, Samantha got a 9 months probation and served a 22-day sentence.
There is an unfortunate...
Why in the hell would someone have a damn competition like that, Seekers, bro? This world's freaking truly, bro. We're on the weird side today, man. That's freaking disturbing, truly, man. You're in a competition with their half-sister to see who could freaking get with their daddy first? What the hell was going through their minds, man, Seekers? I'm gonna need y'all guys help on that one, bro. That's insane, bro. One of the freaking disturbing cases we've heard so far on the channel, man. Ooh.
Unfortunate updates in a case that I covered in August of 2023. If you click on the comment, you can go back to the original case. But as of this morning, March 7th, 2024, police in Tulsa, Oklahoma have said that the remains of the missing man, Timothy Van Mater, have been found. Timothy was last seen on March 18th, 2023, leaving his home, and he was captured on CCTV footage doing that. Later, they would find his vehicle, but were not able to find out where he was. The remains of a person were found here in this general area, and I guess this is called Mohawk Park in Tulsa, Oklahoma. Apparently, where he was found was in an area that was very difficult to initially get to, and that's why people weren't able to find him, during the course of the initial searches. 2 individuals were just out there searching for deer antlers, and they noticed something kind of, I guess white in the distance, and so they used binoculars to see what it was, and to them it looked like a body, and so they would go to police, and then the body was found and recovered and was then identified as Timothy Van Mater. As of right now, they have stated that foul play is not suspected, so this may have just been a tragic accident. But his cause of death, as of me filming right now, has not been, released. In a way, I guess this does end, the family's suffering, because sometimes the not knowing can be a lot worse than knowing what happened. But now they will be able to lay him to rest, and hopefully they can soon find peace.
Because what do you guys think he was doing in that woods, bro? He said no foul play was involved, man. But my question is, what was he doing there in those woods? And he was at a place where he said people couldn't get to, so that raises a lot of red flags in my mind. What do you guys think? We're going to deep dive into that case.
If you have one of these 5 names, then I'm sorry for you. I hope you don't have one of these names. But if you know someone who does, you should share this video with them as a warning. It has indeed been proven that these names attract spirits 10 times more than usual, both good and very bad ones. In 5th place, we have the name Karen, which attracts good spirits. The 4th name that gets a lot of spiritual visits is Noah. In 3rd place, there's the name Ethan, which is visited by many spirits. In 2nd place, the name Emma is one of the worst names, perhaps for bringing a spirit into one's home. Before revealing the top spot, comment your name, like, and share this video. The name that brings the most spirits is Kevin. There are 5 other names that are not good for welcoming spirits. If there are enough comments and likes, maybe I could save you. But for now, it's really not certain. Good luck.
Things that are...
That's crazy, bro. I know a couple of Kevins, man. They said bring good and bad spirits, bro. That's crazy, bro. How that video... I didn't think, man, I would know anybody in that freaking video, bro. It said Karen bring good spirits. You would actually think about Karen bring freaking worst spirits, man. You know Seekers, man. All those freaking Karen compilations are out there, bro. But tell me, man, the Seekers, do y'all know anybody, like I said, with that name on that list? I know a couple of people, bro.
Scarier at night. Corn mazes.
They never bother me. I feel happy and fine.
Not me.
Living in the sunlight, loving in the moonlight, having a wonderful time.
Playgrounds.
I don't need a lot. Coffee's only a dime. Living in the sunlight, loving in the moonlight, having a wonderful time.
Be careful. If you come across this group of people, run away as far as possible. Really. I'll explain everything in the video. But before that, don't forget that I can only protect my subscribers who have commented on the video, shared it, and added it to favorites. The people you see here are not Serbian ladies, but Serbian men. And they have plans to conquer the world with their ever-growing numbers. It's terrifying to know that they are already more than 10,000 in the world, gathering to turn this world into a dystopia. What's funny in this story is that their leader is a woman named Marcy, and she is also the leader of a malevolent group called Legion of the Dark Veil. So, a piece of advice: if you see her or her group, run away as far as possible towards a group of people, or into a very well-lit place.
Guess you got to, man. Staring at you like that.
I was the youngest offender ever here, and now I'm the longest one to have ever spent as much time here. Yeah.
But that's your tag, yes?
Yes, I've got the shortest DOC number.
Which year did you come to this prison?
Which year?
In
75. 1975.
1975.
Yes. I've never driven a car. I never went on a date. Never had a checking account. I was never able to be a mother. But a lot of these people in here that are younger, I'm mom.
Do you have many family connections? Do people come to visit you?
My sister does, with her kids and her grandkids. So I still have a connection out there. Yeah.
How do they regard you? What do they think of you and of your situation?
Oh, they want me to come home. They want me to,
that hurts.
Yeah. Well, my 2 nieces, they went and broke their piggy bank and took their money to their mom, my sister, and said, "Is this enough to get Aunt Cindy out?"
Gosh.
Yeah. And that's what makes me emotional.
It's very difficult to me to talk to somebody who's been in this situation for 38 years when I look back on my life and think all the things I have done in that time.
Yeah.
And to some extent yours has...
It's in a box.
You came into prison at age 16. What for?
Murder. I committed murder.
Imagine getting out of...
Seekers, man, did you guys just hear her just talking about, bro, like, she went to freaking jail at 16, like, all the experiences, bro, that she never could do. Yeah, man, that's why I said freaking jail is a scary place, bro. Me personally, I refuse to end up in there. That's one of the things, one of my greatest fears. I told myself, I said I would never go to freaking jail, bro. Like she said, she never had a checking account, she never drove, she never went on a date. It's the little things, man, that you don't think about when you're doing those horrible actions, man. It can stop you from living your full life, bro. That's why I said, Seekers, always think before you act, man. Don't want to be in a cage for the rest of your life.
jail just listening into the news and hearing that you're wanted again. 30-year-old Corey Hastings was given the all clear and released from Sydney's Long Bay jail. Later that day, he headed to a shopping centre and all would have been fine apart from the fact that he was accidentally released. Early the next morning, Hastings himself rang up police after seeing media reports they were searching for him. Police put this down to an administrative mistake following a court appearance, meaning it's likely he won't face any further charges. But this is not even the first time something like this has happened in New South Wales. This situation resolved fairly quickly, unlike the case of Randolph Convery a few months ago. Convery had been jailed for offences including he was accidentally let out 5 months early. 2 whole days after he was released, New South Wales police issued a warrant and he was only located a week later at a country club. In this case, he was charged with escaping lawful custody on the grounds that he knew about the warrant, according to police. But in terms of Hastings, who did hand himself back in, he's gone back to jail and Corrective Services New South Wales are investigating how this happened.
They made the mistake.
The New South Wales, bro, they need to freaking work on their system, something like that, man, because they just releasing these freaking prisoners, they thinking they free. And that guy, like, he freaking called himself back in, so I guess he turned himself in, man. So they got freaking, I guess, like those 2 times. But what happens if, like, they set somebody, like, really freaking bad out, bro? And he just was on the run and he never came back. You never know, man. So they gotta, at New South Wales, they need to fix their system, bro. Because you don't want, because a worse situation could have happened, man.
To summon the devil itself. You won't believe what happened next. Stick around till the end, it's hair-raising. In the dead of night, in a moonlit cemetery, a group tried an unthinkable ritual, whispered chants, flickering candles, and then, out of the shadows, a child appeared, dressed all in white, eyes blank, standing eerily still. As the winds grew colder, the child began to move, footsteps echoing on ancient gravestones. Want to guess where this is heading? Drop your wildest theory in the comments, and if you think you can handle more stories like this, hit that follow button now. Just as suddenly, in a blink, the child vanished into nothingness, leaving nothing but chilling silence and a group frozen in terror. Legend says once you see the child, there's no going back.
This woman accidentally got trapped in the back of a police car, and this is one of the worst deaths imaginable explained. This was 56-year-old Clara Paulino, and her husband was a longtime Miami police officer. Officer Paulino was working a night shift. So around 1 p.m. on August 21st, 2020, her husband was asleep in bed, so Paulino went out to his police car and was attempting to get something, but it's unclear what she was attempting to get. And when she climbed into the back seat, somehow the door closed behind her. I don't know if you've ever been in the back of a police car, but because arrestees always try and escape, they have mechanisms not allowing anybody to get out of the back seat, and it automatically locks from the inside. So Clara was completely trapped. And it was a blistering 95 degrees outside that day. Clara didn't have her cell phone either, and her husband was asleep. And the bar in a police car separating the back seat from the front seat was also locked. She could not reach through to honk the horn and alert anybody. So she sat in the back of this police car struggling to get out. She was banging on the windows, and they could tell she was because when they found her, she had bruises all on her wrists and hands. And they also found Clara's fingerprints all over the back seat, meaning she was touching every surface trying to figure out how to get out of this. And with the heat rising and her hyperventilating most likely, she may have also been losing oxygen. And sadly, hours later, around 5:30 p.m. that same day, her husband and her son found her dead in the back seat of the car. She had died from a heat stroke, and it's more than likely this death was very excruciating and long. It's almost as if Clara was literally cooked alive. And that's an awful situation I could honestly never imagine. Just imagine being that helpless in the back of the car when the heat is 95 degrees and likely knowing I'm going to die from this.
Cooked alive.
This is absolutely horrifying, and I also wonder who shut the door. Or how did it shut? Nonetheless, rest in peace to Clara.
This video is about the strange disappearance of Kenny Veach. He was a Las Vegas resident, avid hiker. He would film a lot of his hikes on his YouTube channel, and he was obsessed with aliens. He loved leaving comments on Area 51 videos. He had been doing this for over 20 years, so how did he go missing? On November 10th, 2014, he set up for an overnight trip to explore the M-shaped cave. There's a lot of lore surrounding this cave, that beings are in there and it's supernatural. So obviously with his interest in Area 51, he went to the cave. And of course he took his camera to document it and post it on YouTube. He told his family it would be a short overnight trip, but he never returned from that. His family and his girlfriend filed a missing persons report. There are 30 helicopters and people on foot searching for him, and he is still yet to be found. But let me talk about what he had to say about the cave. But this was not his first time going to the cave, but it was his first time really documenting it and going deep inside. He said when he entered that M-shaped cave, his body began to vibrate. And the deeper he went into the cave, the more his body vibrated violently. He got scared and hightailed it out of there. The reason he brought a camera this time, he wanted to record his experience if something happened. So my theory is one of two things happened. He either died in the supernatural cave from an animal or something, or maybe he fell. He probably hurt himself and without reception he couldn't call for help. Or two, this cave is supernatural and something got him. But it really seemed like he completely vanished. They can't even find his remains. No bones, no nothing. Let me know what you guys think about Kenny Veach's story in the comment section below. And as always, these videos are for informational purposes only.
A national...
That Kenny Veach story, bro. Seekers. Like, freaking give me the chills, man. He was into, like they said, Area 51 and the supernatural joints. And he went to that freaking cave, bro. Like I say, he's been doing that for 20 years, man. It's something, man. He just, like, disappeared off the face of the earth. That's very freaking spooky, bro. He said he was shaking violently when he went in an M-shaped cave, bro. And he tried to record to get his experience, and then it seems like every single time, man, when somebody freaking experiences something Seekers, but when they try to catch it on camera, something terrible happens. It's like somebody don't want proof of it being out. What do you guys think, Seekers, man? Did he catch some proof and they tried to just, they couldn't let it come out? Or there's something in that cave, but like I said, it was supernatural, there's something gets on, man. Bad energy, something, like I said, animals, something, man, I don't know.
State of emergency has just been declared after a mysterious ship of unknown origins ran aground and started leaking massive amounts of oil. No one tell America. Emergency workers in Trinidad and Tobago are scrambling to clean up the oil. But the strange thing about this whole situation is that no one knows where this ship has come from, who it belongs to, how it capsized, or even what it was carrying. People are now just referring to it as the ghost ship. In fact, when it was sighted on Wednesday, the government said that the ship was sailing under an unidentified flag, and it made no emergency calls before overturning, which suggests that there wasn't anyone even on board. And because we know so little and there's been hardly any media coverage, people have started going wild with speculation online. But the worst part is that this oil has turned white sand and crystal clear water into black sludge, and it has damaged a number of reefs. This is a massive blow to the island's economy, which depends on tourist resorts and hotels during Carnival.
That's freaking crazy, Seekers. Like, when we be watching these videos together, man, it'd be sometimes I could think, I'm like, how come the stuff we be seeing, like, it's not on the media, it's not on the main news or something, man? I always have to find it through, like, other means, bro. That's just freaking big oil spill. You would think that would make it, like, national news or something like that. Freaking destroying all the freaking wildlife and plants all around it, man. It's called the ghost ship. It had no flags, nobody knew who it was, nobody was tracking it or nothing. Just, like, it popped out, came out of nowhere, man, just made the big oil spill, and just, that's the story. I'm definitely going to do some more research into that, bro. The ghost spill or the ghost ship, there has to be more to that story, bro. Right, Seekers? Just has to be, man. Seekers, man, if you guys made it with me to the end of the video, man, you're a true Seeker. Thank you guys for sticking with me, man. Like I said, guys, subscribe to the channel, hit that post notification bell, guys. I also have Super Thanks active, so you guys can try to mess with that if you guys want to. Also, hit that post notification bell so you always get notified when I upload a video, Seekers, man. Just like I said, I want to thank you guys for getting me to 1,000. You guys have freaking put the belief in me, man, that I can really grow this into something, man. So I really appreciate your support. You guys are going to keep going, man. Like I said, I've been uploading all of March. You guys are enjoying it, man. I plan on not missing a day, bro. All of March, man, I just want to do daily uploads. And you guys are going to get it from me, bro. I'm out. You guys are going to catch you in the next video. Peace, Seekers.